JB Long with Evan Moore. And 4 months from tonight, college football will host its championship game just down the road. And ASU spent the summer telling anyone who would listen that they expected to compete for a spot in that contest. And they're not going to apologize for setting the bar high just because of an opening loss to A&M.
Yeah, Todd Graham's been very clear. Expectations have changed down here in the desert, and he's happy with it. He says last week wasn't good enough, and he expects his team to bounce back in a big way here tonight in the desert.
Well, first order of business has to be getting that offense on track, don't you think?
Well, there's no question. This offense wasn't able to find its rhythm last week, and this offense goes as Mike Bercovici goes. And they were unable to protect him efficiently last week. Hit 9 times, which won't allow him to do what he's supposed to do in the pocket. Very detrimental to what they were trying to do offensively. Never quite found their rhythm. Additionally, another big facet of what they're trying to do is get DJ Foster more involved. You might see him at running back. You might see him at receiver. One of the most dynamic playmakers in all of college football. Expect him to have a big night.
Now, conversely, ASU felt like they controlled the line of scrimmage, and there were a ton of positives to build off of defensively in that loss to A&M.
Well, there's no question. This defense played nearly perfect in all phases of the game. Todd Graham effusive in his praise for most of the guys on this defensive unit. And what they're going to see here tonight is a different attack from the Cal Poly offense. Triple option, a lot of things that they haven't seen in quite some time. It's going to be important for Jordan Simone to lead this defense, put them in the right plays, a good veteran leader on the back end of that defense. Additionally, Salamo Fiso, the Sam linebacker that has been singled out by Todd Graham on more than one occasion for his consistent performance throughout training camp and last week. He's the quarterback of this defense. He's going to get him in the right play. These two guys are big for them tonight in stopping this different offense that has had so much success.
So it's Cal Poly and Arizona State, Pac-12 After Dark, Sun Devil style, with ASU looking for its first win of the new season. The Sun Devils pouring out of that south end zone in Tillman Tunnel. Phase 1 of the 3-part renovation of Sun Devil Stadium is complete as they get set for their home opener against Cal Poly. And for more on that story, here is the third member of our team, Drea Avent, down on the field.
Hi, JB. Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot more of a home field advantage here at ASU with the new student renovations of the new student section behind me. The students are much closer to the field than they've been in years past, so their presence and their energy is going to be more effective for the players, and players told me they're very excited about this. And also behind the north end zone, there's another new student section. It's not renovated yet. That's going to be next year, but that's another place where students are closer to the field, and this is something that Coach Graham is very excited about because of all the stuff that the fans bring to everything that this team does, guys.
Thank you, Drea. It looks wild down there at the double inferno. And the other advantage, although we're not taking advantage of it tonight, is that Todd Graham and ASU are on the west side of the stadium for the first time for day games, Evan. That means they'll be in the shade.
No question, JB. And one thing's very clear, Todd Graham loves to play at home. He was very quick to tell us, last 2 years, 12-1. This is a place they're very comfortable playing football.
Cal Poly won the toss. They elected to defer behind head coach Tim Walsh in his 7th season with the Mustangs, 25th as a head coach overall. And a wrinkle for ASU, they normally would like to defer when they win the toss, but they'll take the football here today because of the triple option and the ball control style that the Mustangs want to run. Alex Vega will kick off. He's the Big Sky Conference Special Teams Player of the Week, a redshirt freshman from Gilroy. In his first career game, drilled the 49-yard game winner with 4 seconds remaining to win at Montana. Gump Hayes, 4 yards deep in his own end zone, will bring it out. Hayes hit at the 15 and is down across the 20. That's where he will hand it off to Mike Bercovici, the 5th-year senior, making his 5th career start.
Yeah, JB, you mentioned them wanting the ball first. One thing they've done consistently under Mike Norvell is start quickly, start fast. It's something they're accustomed to doing, and it gets them in the rhythm they're looking for tonight. When they score first, under this staff, 23-6. So they know what's most important here on offense.
Saw the numbers against A&M. Todd Graham said he thought Bercovici played gallantly. They begin with Mario Richard in the backfield. And they start on the ground. No, they throw. Bercovici pulls it out. And he hits DJ Foster, senior from Scottsdale. Another change tonight. Mike Norvell has moved up to the booth. The offensive coordinator moves upstairs for the first time at ASU. Bo Graham had been his eyes in the sky, but of course Graham leaving the team 2 weeks prior to the opener. So they made that adjustment this week. This time Bercovici does give to Richard. And ASU wants to establish the run, averages 2.2 yards per carry last week in Houston.
We talked a lot about Mike Norvell being up in the booth this week. Important to have those eyes and that different perspective that he didn't have with Bo Graham gone last week. He's excited to be up there.
Second down, the full 10. Running right up the hash and to the 40. Richard rushed for a team-high 73 yards, but also lost a critical fumble inside his own 10-yard line. So some self-administered punishment this week in practice. Post-practice up-downs with that football tucked high and tight. Give Marcus Page-Allen his first tackle. Here's third down and 6. And on the draw, it's Richard picking his way. A yard and a half shy of the line he needed, which was the 45. Gain of 6.
It's clear what they're doing is what we're doing here early with this offense. One thing Todd Graham said throughout the week is we need to establish the run. We didn't do that effectively against A&M. It's something we'll try to do here tonight. And they've leaned on Demario Richard early. Expect them to do that for the better part of this game, because that's really the identity of this offense, is running the football consistently well.
Chris Fletcher drops to receive. Matt Hawk was busy last week, the ASU punter. Fair catch signaled for, and drops. The beanbag is out, but so is the flag. The Sun Devils will get caught for a halo violation, and it should be Mustangs football.
What we thought would probably go the Sun Devils' way on special teams, much did not go their way last week. But unfortunately, a little too close to the returner in this instance, not giving him the space necessary to catch the football. And this one's going to be another penalty on the special teams unit, something that Todd Graham was not happy about this week. Special teams coordinator Sean Slocum trying to correct some of the mistakes from last week. And you'll watch him. Got to give him the space to bring that football in when he's calling a fair catch. ASU doesn't do that and commits another costly penalty in the special teams unit.
It's Kareem Orr, the freshman from Chattanooga, who they are so excited about from a skill standpoint. So here comes the triple option for Cal Poly, led by fifth-year senior Chris Brown. First man through is Joe Prothro, their sophomore fullback. Brown on the opening week carried 24 times for 130 yards, including a 60-yard touchdown dash. Just 4 of 12 through the air, but one of those completions was a 56-yard touchdown toss. On the pitch, it's strung out by that ASU defense. Laiu Mokiola picks up his first tackle. Corey Garcia, the ball carrier.
It's going to be very important for this ASU defense to play assignment-specific football on what this Cal Poly offense does. So much misdirection, and they've had so much success running this offense. And Todd Graham knows that these guys need to stay home and read their keys in order to stop this running game.
Coach Walsh's offense not built for third down and 10. That's what they face on their opening drive. You saw Christian Sam crowding the line of scrimmage, and it looked like Matt Fisher jumped for Cal Poly.
False start. Offense number 59. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
JB, one of the things this Cal Poly offense has become accustomed to doing is getting ahead and basically playing keep away. They want to play with a lead. They're very comfortable doing that and slowing the game down as they try to establish the run here early on.
Garcia, the motion man. They give to Prothro. He's cut down as he crosses the 35-yard line. I'll set up fourth down and medium. And it looks like ASU's defense will get off the field.
This triple option attack, 3 different ways to attack you. And Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator of the ASU Sun Devils, was very clear that we need to stop the dive. And the dive is when they hand it to Joe Prothro up the middle. And they can't afford to allow Cal Poly to eat up yards with the dive. They have to force them to the perimeter and utilize ASU speed to stop them on the outside.
Stephen Pyle is the Mustangs punter. He gets it away cleanly. A wobbly spiral that Gump Hayes takes at his 23. He's wrapped up immediately. DJ Peluso on the special teams tackle for Cal Poly. Both teams punt on their opening drive. Pac-12 football is presented by Tire Pros. Trust the pros at Tire Pros. Find your local dealer at TirePros.com. And by Clean, Crisp Coors Lights. And by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper and college football. It's a one-of-a-kind tradition. A high of 106 degrees today in Tempe, Arizona. It has cooled off nicely for kick. Arizona State's second drive begins with Demario Richard testing that left edge. He's able to break a couple of tackles and get out across the 30. Give him 7 yards on first down before Kevin Griffin is credited with the tackle. And for the second week in a row, Evan, Arizona State has a left tackle making his first career start tonight at Sam Jones. And it's Richard. He follows his blocking for first down yardage out to the 35. Demario Richard. Baby beast mode, as he's known here in the deserts. They're feeding him early and often here against this Cal Poly defense. 4 yards on first down.
JB, as expected, this ASU offense coming out trying to control the tempo of the game, knowing the way Cal Poly plays. And Todd Graham was very clear, we're going to run the football better this week, and I think that's exactly what they're trying to do here early on.
They're once again without Kalen Ballage for the second game to start the season. Widely reported that he is down with mono. They're optimistic that it's a mild case and that he has a chance to play once Pac-12 league play begins. Richard once more, and he's tracked down by Burton DeConey, the fifth-year senior and a captain. Evan, let's take a look at Charise's perfect combination for the Sun Devils.
JB, as we mentioned in the opener, one guy that's so important to what they do is DJ Foster, and getting him more involved today is critical for this team as he's one of the more dynamic playmakers in all of college football. Additionally, Demario Richard, a very powerful north-south runner, and with the absence of Kalen Ballage, they'll get even more carries tonight to get this running game going. A big part of what they do.
They need 6 on third down. A nice pocket for Bercovici to throw, and he's got a completion to Gary Chambers. R.J. Mazalewski draped all over him. But ASU moves the chains.
ASU moving very quickly here offensively. Not leaving much time between each snap.
Trips to Bercovici's rights. They'll let Demario Richard take it again. Stacked up as he crosses into Cal Poly territory. 4-yard gain on first down. ASU fans heard last season that Richard was 17 years old about as many times as they heard that Brock Osweiler was 6'8" while he was playing here at Sun Devil Stadium. So we'll leave that one alone, but he is still young, yes. Here's a throw down the seam once again. It's Chambers into the red zone.
Chambers finds that seam nicely and gives Bercovici a chance to step in and deliver the football. And Gary Chambers, the guy last year that averaged over 20 yards a catch, kind of a overlooked guy in this offense, but certainly reliable, a guy they feel plays very hard. There's a good fit for what they're trying to do offensively.
Some offensive traction on this second drive. Again, it's Richard inside the 15.
Once again, protection is so key here, allowing Gary Chambers to find that seam route with a single high safety. A nice little void about 15 to 18 yards up the field. Nice job protecting the football and getting on the ground and securing the catch.
Bercovici ready again. Throws to the end zone. DJ Foster. Touchdown, Sun Devils.
On cue, JB, after talking about efforts to try to get DJ Foster more involved, Mike Bercovici with the outstanding play-action fake, holding those linebackers just long enough to allow a nice little throwing lane to Foster in the end zone, and he comes down with a catch. If you'll see here, this play-action fake holds those linebackers just long enough, allowing him to deliver the football low enough, so only DJ Foster can come up with that catch. Nice job securing the football for 6 points.
DJ Foster with receptions now in 42 consecutive games. Every game he has played in a Sun Devil uniform. Has the longest active NCAA streak. And he has tied Derek Hagan in the ASU record books, trailing only John Jefferson's school record of 44. So on the second drive, Arizona State finds the end zone. Bercovici to A-State 8, DJ Foster. Sun Devils grab an early lead over Cal Poly, ranked in the FCS this week after an upset at Montana in their week 1. DJ Foster, Evan, with the receiving touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back to that very well executed play. We're going to see DJ Foster run a bang post, hold this play action play just long enough to hold this linebacker, and you see it open up a passing lane nicely for Mike Bercovici to deliver the football. Well run route by DJ Foster and well timed by Mike Bercovici. We mentioned before, so much of what they do is about timing. And they weren't quite able to find that last week, so it's a great start for them offensively.
Aaron Jackson Jr. is the Cal Poly kick returner, and he takes a knee on the U in Sun Devil. That drive summary brought to you by 76, 9 plays, 77 yards. It took just over 3 minutes. DJ Foster on the receiving end of Mike Bercovici's 4th completion. He starts 4 of 4 tonight in the home opener for the Sun Devils.
That drive largely featured the running game that we talked about earlier, capped by what DJ Foster is able to do, but the rhythm was established by what they're able to do on the ground. Impressive drive by ASU early here.
I mentioned 42 straight games with at least 1 catch. He's got a chance to make a little bit of history tonight if he can join the 2,000 yards receiving club. He's got 49 yards to go after that drive. Christian Sam had a monster game against Texas A&M, one of the players that this coaching staff was really pleased with in Houston. Sam sacked Texas A&M's Kyle Allen, forcing a fumble that led to an ASU touchdown. Todd Graham called it the best game he's played in a Sun Devil uniform. Lokiola and the Sun Devils showing pressure from the edge. They're not going to relent from their blitz-heavy package just because the Mustangs run the triple option. On the dive, it's the fullback, Joe Prothro, who reportedly drew some interest from Oregon as a walk-on coming out of high school. It's a Concord, California product.
I think we're going to see here with the ASU defense is a little bit of a chess match. Chris Brown has the freedom to adjust things accordingly pre-snap on the Cal Poly side of the football, but like JB, you just alluded to, this ASU offense is aggressive and they're creative, and their players have freedom to do things as well. So watch Salamo Fiso and Chris Brown in their little chess match here within the game.
Again, they run the dive, and they're about 2 yards short. Now Cal Poly figures 2.5 yards times 4 snaps equals 10 yards and a fresh set of downs. We'll see if they go for it on their first 4th down opportunity. Looks like they'll punt instead.
One of the things Keith Patterson, defensive coordinator for the Sun Devils, hit on here yesterday is just like they try to do every game, they try to confuse the opposing team's quarterback. Extra important here this week as Chris Brown tries to read the keys of the ASU defense. And if they can get him guessing wrong and making decisions that indicate some confusion on his end, it'll be a difficult night for this Cal Poly offense if he's unable to figure out what ASU is doing on the defensive side of the football.
Pyle's second punts to Gump Hayes. Able to stay on his feet at the 20. Or was he? It's blown dead as he breaks away. So the Sun Devils will start from their own 19-yard line. We'll take a look at Gump Hayes. JUCO transfer, 2 years of eligibility, left here in the desert. Hands it over to his offense. Sun Devils set for their 3rd offensive drive. First, Evan Moore's La Quinta, keys to the game.
Yeah, JB, on the Cal Poly, on the offensive side of the football, it's key for them to respond to ASU's pressure and win that chess match. And on defense, on offense, keep ASU off the field. Hold on to the ball. Time of possession, sometimes an overused stat, but important for them to do that today. We'll get to ASU after this snap.
Put DJ Foster in the backfield, and he pinballs his way for 10 yards and a first down.
To elaborate a bit more for ASU, it's starting fast and establishing rhythm like they've been able to do here on the ground. Nice physical run by a guy that we've talked a lot about tonight, getting him the football more consistently.
He breaks through to the 2nd level for another gash on first down. Chris Fletcher Jr. may have saved a touchdown burst. So already ASU getting the ball into DJ Foster's hands. Again, it's Fletcher with the solid tackle in space.
Number 73 of the defense's helmet came off through play. He may not participate in the next down.
It's Marcus Page Allen, you heard announced. He'll have to leave. DJ Foster comes off as well. Foster with just 9 touches for 61 all-purpose yards last week. They were very conscientious about getting him jump-started here in the Valley. And we welcome those of you watching USC wrap up its victory over Idaho. ASU on its 3rd offensive drive, leading 7-0 and running straight up the middle into Cal Poly territory. It'll be third down and short. Deshevon, or as he's known here, Gump Hayes, for his Forrest Gump speed, makes it third and manageable.
In contrast to last week, where they used Gump Hayes quite a bit with the Mario Richard, now we're seeing some more DJ Foster in the backfield as well to account for the loss of Kalen Ballage, providing a three-headed attack out of that backfield that has moved the ball very efficiently here tonight so far.
They need the 44-yard line of Cal Poly. They set up the screen, and that was Tim White, who's been working through a hand and wrist issue that was in a cast. Finally came off last Thursday. Did play briefly last week, but we expect his first significant reps as a Sun Devil tonight.
Saw number 12 lined up, Tim White, a guy that they're very high on. And we saw that screen developing. I think both of us up here got a little excited, wanted to see that speed showcased here tonight. And I think we're going to see Tim White do some things here tonight to show that promise that they talk about so often here at ASU.
Bercovici and the Sun Devils lined up to go for it on fourth down, but they'll have the quarterback pooch punt it with no Cal Poly Mustang back. It takes a good hop and rolls inside the 10. Nicely done by Mike Bercovici, something we've seen Taylor Kelly do here in his tenure as Arizona State's quarterback. And so the Mustangs pin deep. Punt of 38 yards.
The quick kick so effective when not expected, and last week duly noted all the problems they had on the punt team. Didn't quite get the hang time they were looking for. This is a suitable alternative to allow Micah Bercovici to plant him back just inside the 10-yard line. Well done.
Saw the wink there from Taylor Kelly to Mike Bercovici. Teammates, certainly, competitors. Bercovici has waited a long time for this to be his show. Chris Brown back under center. He's yet to throw a pass in this triple option offense, and Joe Prothro piles ahead. Still not down. He's got 8 on first down.
Corey Garcia, the wingback, oftentimes when he comes in that motion to be that third option, he opens up the dive for that offense, because that defense will stretch, opening up the center and allowing Joe Prothro some room to run. In this case, puts him in a second and manageable situation.
They call it the flex bone with those slot backs and the fullback. And they think Joe Prothro could play tailback in a traditional power offense. They're pleased with what he gives them.
They feel he's a very underrated player, very versatile. And this triple option offense, oftentimes referred to as the equalizer, as teams run this, and it's very difficult for a talented team like ASU to keep up with at times. It's so key for them to identify what they're doing and respond accordingly.
Inside give. And that is Corey Garcia. Preseason All Big Sky. 1,000-yard rusher a season ago with 7 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, head coach Tim Walsh, it's a lot of praise for Corey Garcia. Says he's their most versatile back. Not very big, but great vision and can do it all.
About 85% run in terms of the distribution and play calling. Good penetration there. Demetrius Cherry from the end. Got his arms around Jared Muhammad. Salam Ofiso there as well.
With regard to defending this triple option, one thing Todd Graham said was, look, we're not trying to assign one guy to each option. We're trying to outnumber them with each option. And so far, ASU has been effective in doing just that.
Third down and 3. And they've got it straight ahead. It's Muhammad again. He's the 4th of 4 Muhammad brothers to play for Cal Poly, following his brothers Marty, Kyle, and Dylan. Jordan Simone with the tackle.
It's worth noting that Cal Poly will do some stuff out of the shotgun, but tonight, for the most part, electing to go out of the under center, allowing the dive play just like this, them to get some momentum upfield. And ASU felt they're probably better off going from under center, because ASU has seen a lot of gun from their own offense throughout training camp. But being under center allows Chris Brown to get his dive running back much forward motion, much like he just did here.
Pitches on the option left. Some running room with a flag down at the line of scrimmage. For now, it's Corey Garcia into Sun Devils territory. Chris Coit is our referee tonight, leading this crew of 8.
Shot block, offense number 68. 15-yard penalty. We play first down.
And Evan, that's about the best thing that could happen to this Sun Devils defense right now, is to have one of those blocks called as a penalty early.
We discussed it yesterday, and this defensive staff was clear that before the game they would alert the officials that this is a very common feature of a triple option offense. They want their defensive lineman taken care of. A chop block, when one of their defensive linemen engages with an offensive lineman, another offensive lineman cannot go at the knees of that defensive lineman. That's exactly what happened there. And they're happy to get that call early.
1st and 25, and Brown's in trouble. Tayshawn Smallwood in pursuit. Jordan Simone as well. To the extent that any offense is not built for 1st and 25, Cal Poly especially in trouble when they get behind the sticks.
Definitely not many calls in the playbook to address a situation like that. They're just going to have to slowly chip away at these yards, but they're backed up here. They're in a tough spot at 2nd and 29. In their best interest here, chip away at that number.
First throw is just down the line, and it's Garcia out of the backfield. Armand Perry, the sophomore safety, came up to make the tackle. The new starter in the secondary, replacing Demarius Randall, the first-round pick of the Packers. Led the Sun Devils with 11 tackles last week, but Evan, he also had a couple of costly busts.
Couple key mistakes that this staff realizes happens with young players from time to time. Unfortunately, one of them resulted in a long touchdown for A&M. But he's a young, aggressive safety that this staff is very high on, and they expect him to continue to develop.
Timeout. Arizona State. They're first of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Something had to be wrong on the ASU side for them to burn a timeout on 3rd and 20 for Cal Poly inside a minute to go first quarter. By the way, in case you're wondering who played quarterback on scout team this week for Arizona State trying to simulate Chris Brown, that would be Bryce Perkins, and Todd Graham and company could not rave any higher about what Bryce did. He's Paul Perkins' younger brother, UCLA running back who led the league in rushing, true freshman. They were hoping to redshirt him, but he did his duty this week, and he'll do it again in preparation for New Mexico next week.
So much of preparation for an attack like this that Cal Poly runs is what your scout team is able to do throughout the week during practice. ASU does not run this kind of offense, so they didn't see this throughout training camp. So getting your scout team on the same page of what Cal Poly is doing, giving your defense the best look, and Bryce Perkins was able to do that effectively this week.
Double Inferno student section, bringing some noise on 3rd down and long. Christian Sam got there to drag down Chris Brown and force a punt from the Mustangs.
One thing you hit on, JB, when we find Cal Poly in obvious passing situations out of the gun, this ASU team is going to be aggressive and dial up a lot of the blitzes that we've seen from them all year long. And Christian Sam, a guy that really has emerged here for the Sun Devils, the coaches say, quote, the light bulb has come on for him. And he's a guy that's played outstanding football, and he's a big part of their pressure packages. And what Cal Poly does not want to do is find itself in these obvious passing situations backed up, because that is the bread and butter of this ASU defense, is to bring pressure and force that quarterback into uncomfortable situations. Is exactly what they did right there.
Gump Hayes lined up at his own 32 to field this punt. Once again, good coverage from Cal Poly. Chad Adams credited with the tackle. And we look ahead to next Saturday as we wrap up week 2 here in the Pac-12. Look at this quadruple header. Leading off, Oregon in a battle in East Lansing right now against Michigan State. UW got its first victory. And Jake Browning today, Oregon State and San Jose State. And then Wyoming, Wazoo coming back from Rutgers. And Northern Arizona, Arizona as well. That's coming up next weekend on Pac-12 Network. Week 3 of college football season. From the pistol, it's Bercovici. DeMario Richards had some good traction on the turf. He's got 12 yards on first down. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Just a touchdown for the Sun Devils, and it came from DJ Foster on the pitch and catch from Bercovici. ASU football second quarter next. Pac-12 football is brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Please drink responsibly. The second quarter in Tempe on a Saturday night. Arizona State with a 7-0 lead over Cal Poly in the football. Looking for their first win after going to Houston and playing in front of a hostile crowd. Losing to A&M, a game that was a one-score contest in the fourth quarter. Mike Bercovici said this week his team more excited than they've ever been, and their goal still right in front of them.
The staff very pleased with the way he handled the rigors of last week's game. Sacked 9 times, but a fifth-year senior that hasn't played a ton of football, but shows the experience you'd expect him to show after being in this program for so long. Very pleased with his leadership skills throughout the course of this week and preparing for their next opponent.
He's got DeMario Richard to his left, trips that way as well. Mustangs showing blitz from the corner. Sun Devils pick it up. Bercovici able to unload. That's Devin Lucien into Cal Poly territory, the 39-yard line. Chris Fletcher finally drove him out.
Great job by Demario Richard picking up the pressure and allowing Bercovici to step up in that pocket and find his outlet. And Devin Lucien, the experienced receiver from UCLA, the transfer they got, that gave him much needed maturity in that wide receiving core.
Hayes motions into the backfield and they give it to him. Lucien, the first graduate transfer that Todd Graham has accepted, and he said he only did it because of the pre-existing relationship with the quarterback, Mike Bercovici. They visited together as high school recruits and are reunited here in the Valley of the Sun.
Well, beyond the fact that he's a starting wide receiver for you, I think it's a great addition for them. I said earlier, much needed maturity on that side of the ball in that receiving core.
DJ Foster sweeping left. Needed to break one more tackle. He's down inside the 20. For more on Mike Bercovici, let's go down to the sideline and visit with Dre Avents.
16 on the play. First down, Devils at the 20.
That he stuck around even after losing the starting job to Taylor Kelly. He learned, he became a better player in all facets of his game. And even Jake Plummer talked about, hey, I'm surprised the guy didn't bolt. I have a lot of respect for him. So he stuck around, he's endeared himself in this community, and everybody's just really happy to have him on board this season, guys.
From a clean pocket, he delivers just a touch high. Again, Lucien was his target.
To Drea's point, Mike Bercovici, in a world today where guys are very impatient and they want to play early, guys looking to go elsewhere if need be, he deserves a lot of credit for sticking through what he did. And it's his time now. This is his football team, very talented football team. And Mike Bercovici, a talented quarterback in his own right, expected to lead them possibly a Pac-12 South title this year. So he's earned the right to be in this spot.
Second down and 10. He puts it in the gut of Richard, who just follows his blocks to set up third down and 3. Bercovici just announced this week, by the way, a candidate for the Senior Class Award, along with his center, Nick Kelly. Bercovici needing just 3 years to graduate, now enrolled in the Sports Law and Business program at ASU. They need the 10-yard line on third down. Richard has it, and he's got 6.
In this case, JB, this Cal Poly defense is looking to bring pressure off the edge. One thing they didn't account for is sending Demario Richard right up the middle on an inside zone play. And when you bring those linebackers and bring them up on the edge, up on the line of scrimmage, you got to have someone step up and get there. You get these linebackers on the edge, opening up the middle. The safety finds himself out of position. Demario Richard walks into the end zone. Great job of seeing that hole open up on the backside. One thing they've talked about with Demario Richard is his vision and patience after he gets the football on full display right there for 6 points.
Zane Gonzalez tacks it on, and it's 14-0 ASU, a 7-play, 70-yard touchdown drive from the 13. It's Demario Richard with the touchdown. Now a 2-touchdown lead for ASU, but DJ Foster a bit shaken up on that last drive, Evan.
Yeah, on this jet sweep, he comes around, finds a nice little hole, but ends up getting pulled down a little bit awkwardly. I hope DJ's okay, but one thing's very clear. Mike Norvell heard all week long, can you guys get DJ Foster more involved? 6 touches or 6 receptions last week wasn't enough. And that message has been received loud and clear, as we're already at 6 touches. We're early in the second quarter. Expect him to be even probably more involved as the game goes on.
Roland Jackson Jr. from his goal line. Across the 15, drilled as he hit the 20. Let's check in with Mike Yam in San Francisco.
All right, JB, time for your Transamerica game break. A lot of eyeballs on Oregon and Michigan State, a battle of 2 top 10 teams, and with Sparty up 31-28. It was a 4th and 16. Vernon Adams just short on the pass to Braylon Addison, and in the game, Adams did throw for 309 yards, had a touchdown, 2 interceptions, but in the end, it's too much Sparty.
All right, thank you, Mike. Here are the flag on the kickoff. Went against Kareem Orr for a hands to the face. So Cal Poly football, and they've been given some good field position out to the 36-yard line. Evan, you and I are heading to Eugene next week. The Ducks will have to regroup after that top 10 showdown.
Heck of a football game out in East Lansing. Ducks fall short. Tough place to play. That was a game that We all wondered how it would shape up with a new quarterback in Eugene. A valiant effort and fell just a little bit short in East Lansing.
Back to the triple option attack. Muhammad diving. First man through. Christian Sam has had a big game in terms of tackling so far, credited with another after a gain of 3. Salamo Fiso there as well. Fiso coming off the best offseason of his career, dropped about 10 pounds, gained a step, said he grew up off the field as well, and it showed last week. He had that big 4th down tackle against A&M. Brown triggers the triple option again, and it's Muhammad breaking through. Armand Perry grabbed him by the shoulder pads, otherwise he was off.
We've said it several times, if you allow this dive, the first option of the 3 options, if you allow it to get going like it does here, it makes this attack very, very difficult to stop, as they haven't even had to stretch the defense yet to get that dive going.
24-yard pickup by Muhammad, and there's a Sun Devil down. We'll check in on that after this. It's Pac-12 football presented by Tire Pros. They're looking at Viliami Latu. And Evan, this is the part about playing the triple option that defenses fear.
Exactly what we're talking about right here. One of the staples of this triple option offense is these guards turning and running and cutting the backside of these defensive ends' legs. Ami Latu on the bad end of that. And you always hope that your defensive line, when playing against a triple option team, is able to come out of these games healthy. And we hope he's okay down there on the sideline. Anytime you have offensive linemen consistently diving at your knees from behind, especially throughout the course of the game, makes it very difficult to come out healthy.
In comes JoJo Wicker, the freshman from Long Beach, to make his Sun Devil Stadium debut. Fullback is Joe Prothro this time, and he's close to first down yardage. He did the 25, give him the 26.
Another note about this defensive line and Ami Latu and these guys up front for ASU. Played an outstanding football game last week.
Again, they go with the dive, and on the second effort, it looks like Cal Poly moves the chains.
Last week at A&M, played an outstanding football game up front. Like Todd Graham said, he had a lot of stuff dialed up front to get these guys slanting with different stunts. And they came over to the sideline late first quarter and said, Coach, we don't need to stunt anymore. We can take these guys straight up man to man. And Todd Graham was very happy to hear that and ended up going with what their preference was for the rest of the game. And they were very successful.
Muhammad on first down has a gaping hole, and he's dragged down at the 6. Jordan Simone saved a touchdown.
Once again, feeding this dive, stretching that defense, creating the perception that Chris Brown is going to go on the run, letting it go to that dive, opens it up on the inside, and it's something that ASU has to get in the way of. Cannot allow this dive to get established here. It's an easy way for Cal Poly to eat up yardage and also eat up that clock as well as they try to control the time of possession game here.
See why the Mustangs, the 2-time defending rushing offense champions at the FCS level, 352 yards per game on the ground in 2014. Muhammad is back behind center. They have to stretch to give him the football, and he dives in for the touchdown. Joe Prothro extending the football to break the play.
Joe Prothro, a very unique athlete in that he has the strength to play what they're calling their fullback, but the quickness and the moves to also play tailback, which is exactly what you see here. A very physical run, and is able to finish it by stretching that ball on the other side of the goal line. Outstanding run by Joe Prothro, and that's a dive that was very much highlighted by their ability to establish that dive up front. And it's also something ASU had emphasized all week long. We are not going to let the dive be established. And that's exactly what happened there on that drive, and it leads to 7 points for Cal Poly.
Stephen Pyle is the PAT kicker. He handles shorter field goals for the Mustangs, while Alex Vega takes the longer range ones. And after giving up a second touchdown to ASU, Prothro and the Mustangs respond. Hello, Mill Ave. We know you are watching on this Saturday nights with the Sun Devils. 14-7 ASU with the lead. Cal Poly just scored for the first time, and with 10:32 left in the half, Mike Bercovici and this Sun Devils offense waiting for another chance. Alex Vega will kick it away with Evan Moore. JB Lung. Dre Avents is on the sideline for us. And there is Gump Hayes waiting to return. 5 yards deep. He wants to bring it out. Hayes slanting left. He's got a hole. He's got a block. Gump Hayes into Cal Poly territory. Grabbing that left hamstring as he gets to his feet. The kicker, Vega, saved it.
This is how you draw it up, JB. Very inefficient on special teams last week, but this ASU special teams unit here, there's not a single white jersey unaccounted for, leaving a lot of running room for Gump Hayes, and you hope what he comes up with here towards the end is just a little bit of a cramp that he's able to shake off, but a lot of room to maneuver here. It's a good job by kicker Alex Vega as the last line of defense to force him to slow down just enough for them to bring him down around the 40-yard line.
Good news for Sun Devil fans. DJ Foster is back on the field. He's the receiver at the bottom of your screen. Bercovici under center. Hit from behind. Burton DeConey, a second-year transfer from Nevada, got there.
Cal Poly deciding to bring some pressure at the right time. Missed assignment there by the tight end, Raymond Epps, on the backside, basically leaving DeConey scot-free and coming in and making the play on Mike Bercovici. Mike had a guy downfield there.
Loss of 7. Bercovici to the near sideline, incomplete. And that'll send us back to San Francisco with Yammer time.
All right, JB, game break. It's driven by Tire Pro. Stanford coming off a rough loss in week 1 has UCF Kevin Hogan. I'm with a flea flicker here. Michael Rector had just 1 grab in that week 1 defeat against Northwestern. He's got 2 in this game, including that 53-yard touchdown. And right now, Stanford up 7-0.
All right, back here in Tempe, 3rd down and 17 upcoming for Bercovici and the Sun Devils. He's got Demario Richard to his left in the backfield and 4 wide receivers in formation. From midfield, could be 4 down territory. We'll see. Bercovici hits his tight end. Cody Cole right near the marker. Coming off a 4-yard touchdown reception in the second quarter of last week's game.
Cal Poly electing to only bring 3 guys and drop 8 in coverage. Sounds good in theory, but the problem is you leave a lot of time for Mike Bercovici to operate in that pocket and find guys in zones down the field, and he does just that to Cody Cole.
It is 4th down in inches, and for the first time we see Nick Ralston, a freshman fullback who's their short yardage back, join the formation.
The previous play is under review.
Wait as they review the spots.
To elaborate a little bit, JB, and so often in those 3rd and long situations, teams are afraid to bring even the slightest bit of pressure as they want to fall back into zones and basically keep guys in front of them. But the problem is it's a wide field. There's a lot of room to work. And in this case, Cody Cole does just that. And the question here, is he able to fall in front of that line? As you know, in college football, as soon as he's down, he's down. It does not matter where he rolls. It's where that knee hits the ground and where the ball is at that time. And it looks like he falls just inches short of that 1st down marker. I think either way, this is 4 down territory for ASU. And I think they're going to be comfortable drawing something up here and going for this 1st down on 4th and short.
Cal Poly head coach Tim Walsh there, a Hall of Famer at both Portland State and Sonoma State. Check out the list of assistants he has mentored in his coaching tree. Dan Hawkins, CU. Gary Patterson, TCU. Chris Peterson, Boise, and now at Washington. He's very proud of their success.
Very interesting guy to talk to as well, no question.
One more look at the spot on the field. They need the 33-yard line. Right now the ball is spotted at the 34.
After review, the ruling on the field that the runner was short of the line to gain stands. 4th down.
It's Chris Coyd, our referee, and so 4th and short upcoming for Todd Graham's group.
Yeah, there's no question that knee came down, and when that knee did come down, that ball was short of the 1st down marker. I think ASU finds itself here in 4 down territory as they bring this offense back on the field. Expect them to rely on Demario Richard here and his ability to get north and south. fullback in the game, Brimhall, a guy they don't use too often, but in situations like this, it's necessary. As they try to just get a matter of inches here, get a new set of downs.
Bercovici under center. He gives it to Richard. He picks his way through the left side. Able to pick up the first down and move the chains. You know, one of the observations I've seen through a part of 2 quarters now, Evan, is that the cadence at the line of scrimmage is so much easier inside the confines of Sun Devil Stadium compared to what Bercovici had to deal with last week in Houston.
Absolutely. Big challenge for him last week, and I think a lot of that challenge, JB, as we acknowledged earlier, was a result of that A&M pass rush. That's something that Cal Poly doesn't have, but it's also a problem, thankfully, that ASU doesn't have to deal with here today.
Sun Devils with the football in a 14-7 lead. Just under 9 minutes to go, second quarter. DJ Foster and the Sun Devils back on the field, and Foster is the subject of our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. He is 49 receiving yards away from joining the 2,000 club. 2,000 rushing, 2,000 receiving career. He'll be the 4th member of that club in NCAA history. Bercovici on first down. Climbs the pocket. Tipped up in the air, and it falls incomplete. Joseph Gigantino III, a junior linebacker, in coverage on Richard there.
JB, hard to put something like that into perspective for DJ Foster, but absolutely incredible what he's been able to do, both at the receiver position and out of the backfield. Truly dynamic player, one of the more dynamic players this conference has ever seen. And those kind of numbers, speaking from experience, are incredibly difficult to accomplish. So credit to him. Unbelievable career here at ASU.
Second down. They throw his way. Caught at the 23. He's about a yard short of the marker. Now, if he gets to the 2,500 club, not only would he be the first Pac-12 player to do that, according to our research, he'd be the first D1 player to ever do that. Show you how versatile he's been throughout his 4-year Sun Devil career. Third down and short. Mario Richard, who already has a touchdown on this night, gets the 20-yard line before he's shoved back. First down, Sun Devils, right on the cusp of the red zone. Tawatta Inoke credited with that tackle. He's the Big Sky and FCS National Defensive Player of the Week after leading the team in tackling in the win at Montana.
Maybe one thing we've seen here with Mike Bercovici is them run their own little version of the triple option. Fakes the dive, ends up on the run, has the option to run and throw, so 3 different options.
Throws to the far side, the hand of Foster. Carlton Dennis with him in coverage for Cal Poly. Foster still doesn't quite look right, even though he's playing through that knock that he took on the touchdown drive, the most recent one. He's going to come off here. About to hit the 8-minute mark, second quarter. This is Richard dancing away from the run blitzing linebacker. Able to get 3 yards. Wonder if he just overextended something, reaching out to try and make that one-handed catch. We've seen him leave action twice now. Meanwhile, third down and 7 for Bercovici. Looking right. Gary Chambers has been one of his favorite targets on this night. This is Devin Lucien.
Devin Lucien ISO'd on the backside, runs a quick slant. And so often what a quarterback will try to do is throw that ball low enough to where the defender can't be behind you and make a play. It's your job as a receiver to put your body between the ball and the defender.
Richard, patient, just sifting through traffic. And he's got his second touch.
JB, one thing we've seen tonight from Mario Richard is his ability to be patient when he gets the football in his hands. He's not forcing anything. It might not always be pretty, but he's turning no games into 4- to 5-yard gains on the outside as he's patient and allows that thing to bounce out. What you see here on a draw, he doesn't really have a whole lot of room there, but he's patient enough to allow guys to overrun it and cut back inside and get up and get the ball over the goal line. It's exactly what they're asking of Mario Richard to establish this run here tonight. And it's given them the tempo offensively that they missed last week. It's something Mike Norvell has to be happy with at this point in the game.
Rushing touchdowns of 13 and now 6 yards for the sophomore from Palmdale, California. Scoring drive measures 11 plays, 43 yards. After the big return from Gump Hayes put them in prime position. We invite you to stay tuned for the State Farm halftime reports. Ducks fall just short in their bid for a top 10 win in East Lansing. The Rosen One Part 2, the freshman for UCLA making his second career start. And Nick Wilson runs all over Nevada. For the Bear Downs, that's coming up on our State Farm halftime report. 7:06 of game time away. Bercovici on headset talking upstairs with his deputy head coach and offensive coordinator Mike Norvell. In case you missed it earlier, Norvell for the first time in his Sun Devils tenure is up in the booth. And part of the reason he made that move, he likes it up here, but he trusts the veteran quarterback and his maturity down on the field without having to hold his hands.
Trust that quarterback and also the synergy within this coaching staff. He feels like they've been together long enough to where that move was actually beneficial, wouldn't be detrimental to what they're doing offensively.
Deep kick by Zane Gonzalez, a touchback for Cal Poly. And they're once again chasing 2 touchdowns as Chris Brown takes the field again.
JB, going back to Mike Norvell, it's so important as an offensive coordinator to have those eyes in the booth if you're going to be down on the field. And Bo Graham, the old running backs coach, has been that guy for him for quite some time. And Bo's departure before training camp left a void there. And I think in game 1, they regret not having Mike up in the booth, and that's where he is now with a bird's eye view of what's going on. And I think you're seeing the results he was looking for as a result.
Dive has been the friend of Cal Poly so far. They got about half what they needed on first down. 200 or more rushing yards in 23 straight games for Cal Poly. That's the longest active streak in D1. Georgia Tech is second on that list with 15 games in a row active streak. You can see why through parts of 2 quarters. They don't have a passing yard to their credit yet as they try pro throw once again. It'll set up 3rd down and 2. Tayshawn Smallwood, who put in a strong freshman season, back for more as a sophomore. Defensive lineman gets the tackle. There it is, the 2-time FCS rushing champions.
A lot of success on the ground. A lot of that, part of that is the system they run and how often they run. The other side of it is they're good at it. They do it effectively. They've perfected it.
Chris Brown will take this himself. It looks like he's a half yard short. We'll wait for the spot.
So much of what they do offensively, as noted by defensive coordinator Keith Patterson, it starts with Chris Brown. He's exactly where it starts. He makes all the decisions. And head coach Tim Walsh loves the progress he's made over the course of his career. He was very clear, this is Chris's team. He's our leader. He's our guy.
Going for it on 4th and short. Brown will take it himself. Now, Evan, I'm curious if when you were a player at Stanford and in the NFL, if you had any pregame rituals, because Chris opts for a box of chocolate-covered raisins before each game.
Well, I can be very sure with you, it didn't involve eating chocolate raisins. We all have different things we do to deal with those nerves, and that's an interesting one, JB, no question.
Todd Graham signaling to his defense. 1st down as Cal Poly picked up the 4th, looking for their first completion. And it is incomplete, intended for Peluso at midfield. Armand Perry running with them through the secondary.
Yeah, JB, you note they're looking for their first completion last week in beating Montana, one of the better teams at the FCS level. Only threw for 56 yards last week, so they're okay relying on the run. Takes a big shot there. They're okay relying on the run. It's what they do. 330 yards on the ground last week, and it's worked for them. But tonight they're going to have to find some kind of balance.
Ooh, Muhammad met in the hole. Tayshawn Smallwood jumped that snap. 6 tackle for a loss from this defensive front from the Sun Devils.
Tayshawn Smallwood getting a good jump off the ball and swimming that guard, trying to get in his way just enough. And Tayshawn Smallwood, part of a defensive line unit, has had so much success so far in the first game and a half of this season.
Drops Cal Poly to 3rd and 11. They got just across the original line of scrimmage. You would expect a punt coming on 4th down from the 40. JoJo Wicker in on the tackle, and Wicker's a player who called Todd Graham at 2 a.m. on signing day, chose ASU over UCLA and Texas Tech, and Graham's celebratory whoop when he got that call apparently woke up his wife Penny. That's how excited he was.
Yeah, this guy's a special player, and the praise for him upstairs never ends. They say he's as advertised. He's versatile as a defensive end and a 3 technique. Not a whole lot he can't do. They've compared him to some pretty big names that have played here at Arizona State University, and they expect a prolific career with him once all said and done.
Jacob Brimhall will get a chance to return. And he drops it. Able to regain control inside the 10-yard line. All right, so 21-7 as we approach the half. Our Red Vine sweet moment recaps the scoring plays.
Mario Richard, like we said earlier, a big part of that play-action play and opening it up for DJ Foster because of what DeMario's been able to do on the ground. And in this case, just patient enough to cut it back and find that open lane. And once again, on the sweep, wants to stretch it, but patient enough to let them overrun it and come back inside. I don't even think he ever hit full speed on those runs because it's his patience that's been key today.
Start this drive on the ground and up to the 13-yard line. DJ Foster playing through a couple of dings in this opening half. Burton DeConing credited with the tackle on number 8. Foster recently asked for his NFL comparable. I want to get your thoughts on this as he carries out of bounds. He said Golden Tate. Now with Detroit, his offensive coordinator Mike Norvell said he watched Randall Cobb and he saw a lot of DJ Foster there as well.
I think I'm with DJ on that one. Golden Tate, a special player, can do a lot of different things. I had a chance to play with him in Seattle. Certainly a weapon on the outside, but also can come into the backfield and do different things as well. That's probably right in line with what DJ Foster's abilities are. Golden's a very special player.
Cal Poly sends a blitzer. Lucien on the receiving end. The first down grab out to the 24-yard line. So Lucien with his 3rd catch of the night.
Nice tempo throw by Mike Bercovici, driving it out to the short comeback from Devin Lucien.
Fires down the line again. Chambers makes a move to the inside, and he's got 8 on first down. It's actually Frederick Gamage making his first catch. Redshirt junior from Phoenix. Missed 2 weeks of training camp with a hamstring injury. Able to get on the field tonight in the home opener for the Sun Devils. 2nd down and 2. Tons of time for Burko. Gamage again going to his knee to make the attempted grab, and it squirts free.
That time utilizing Tim White to clear out the middle of the field, and Gamage running the deep post created a throwing lane as Tim White effectively moved that safety. Bercovici unable to quite get it there. A nice route by the young guy, Fred Gamage.
So that will leave 3rd down and 2. Arizona State would like nothing more than to take the remaining clock, put one more score on the board before halftime. Cal Poly will get the football to begin the 3rd quarter. Play clock short on Burko here. Gets the snap off. Throws over the middle. Cody Cole. His 2nd catch. Picks up the first down. Tuata Inoke credited with the stop. It's Kevin Griffin. He's the half-brother of DJ Calhoun, an ASU linebacker.
The receiver was down. First down.
Cody Cole does a nice job here of just filling what they call the Hank sit route, filling that void, making himself available to the quarterback, dropping his shoulder and getting upfield, getting up a little slowly, but staying in the football game.
He's in line in a strong right formation. Richard the back with Bercovici.
The previous play is under review.
Bercovici 11 of 17 for 153 and a touchdown through the air. As they review that first down conversion.
Bercovici doing a nice job tonight of just taking what they give him. And in this case, Cody Cole driving up the field. Wondering if that ball came loose before that knee hit the ground. Let's see here, just before that knee hits the ground, it actually hits the Cal Poly player's foot, and that ball comes out prior to his knee hitting the ground. There's no question about that.
Good catch by our replay crew, and as they watch in their booth, the Sun Devil Stadium crowd saw the exact same replay we just showed you. And judging from what we saw in their reaction, it seems like the building is in agreement that Cal Poly is going to catch a break with 2:13 left in the second.
Tim White does a good job of what looks like locking up the football to that point. As I mentioned a minute ago, that ball actually hits the foot of a Cal Poly defender, knocking it loose. Unbeknownst to Cody Cole, he's not down. He's not able to get on the football. It looks like he's dinged up a little bit. And Kevin Griffin does a great job of jumping on it. And he may have just gotten his team another possession here before the end of the half.
Among the woes offensively for Arizona State last week, they put it on the ground 5 times, turned it over twice, did not throw an interception against A&M, but ball security among the issues to clean up here in week 2 against the Mustangs. And I imagine the weight here is trying to figure out where the ball is going to be spotted.
And JB, conversely, Cal Poly against Montana, very efficient with their turnover ratio. I mean, they're +3. We're forcing turnovers and getting takeaways. And I believe they have another one here, as they're going to get another possession here before the end of the half.
And if they can capitalize,
come up just a little early.
This could be a game changer because there's 2:13 left, which is enough for their triple option to maybe punch one in. And remember, they're going to get the ball to start the second half.
After review, the runner fumbled prior to being down. The ball was recovered by Cal Poly. It'll be first down at the 46-yard line. Please reset 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
This is exhibit A as to why you keep playing all the way through the whistle. And as defensive coaches will say, you never know what a referee is going to call. Even if you hear the whistle and you see that ball loose, you jump on it. And Kevin Griffin does an outstanding job of not only picking up that football, but selling it and forcing them to review that. And this goes in favor of Cal Poly, who finds itself in an interesting situation here. 2.5 minutes left. See if we're able to put anything together before the end of the half.
Mustangs will start from the ASU 46. Prothro, the fullback, behind Chris Brown. First man through. He's engaged by a host of ASU tacklers at the 41-yard line. Christian Sam among the tacklers for Todd Graham. This is the Mustangs group that went to Missoula and got a win against a Montana team that had just upset in week 1 the reigning FCS champions North Dakota State. Prothro, he got wrong-sided on that exchange, able to hold on to the football. He gained a half a yard. Ismail Murphy Richardson, who was suspended for the opener, making his ASU debut, part of the group of tacklers. It's Christian Sam there. Third down and 4. On the pitch, DJ Prothro. He takes on Lloyd Carrington and moves the chains. Gets out of bounds, 1:36 remaining.
In that case, their success with the dive ends up setting it up on the outside. Chris Brown, great job with his play-action fake. Moving sideline to sideline very quickly, setting up DJ Peluso for the pitch. Getting substantial yardage to give them a fresh set of downs.
Plenty of time and all 3 timeouts as well as they send Peluso in motion. Boy, that collapsed in a hurry. Great penetration by the defensive front. Demetrius Cherry, who had a career moment in Tucson last year. He turned a scoop and score for his first touchdown. Nearly did it again against the Aggies last week with an 18-yard return that put the Sun Devils on the doorstep. Clock rolling at 1:15. Here comes second down. Muhammad is back in as the fullback, and he drags Sun Devils to the 27-yard line. Christian Sam is racking up the tackles on this night. Five left on third down. Cal Poly needs the 22. From here, it'd be about a 44-yard field goal. They option right on the pitch. Garcia has the first down and he's out of bounds.
From JB, an outstanding job by DJ Peluso. End up being his lead blocker out here on the outside. These option guys, when they don't get the football, they end up being lead blockers. And you see there, he gets a nice cut on the Arizona State defensive back, allowing Corey Garcia to get up the field for another first down. They find themselves inside the 20-yard line here with 35 seconds to go.
And all 3 timeouts in their pocket. Play clock inside a dozen. Garcia moves. Prothro gets the carry right up the gut, down to the 4. First down and goal with plenty of time remaining for Cal Poly before the half.
The thing you have to respect with this Cal Poly offense is the velocity with which these running backs hit the line of scrimmage. There's no hesitation. They're moving when they run this dive, and Prothro, just like he does here, throws everything he can, because when he receives that dive,
Cal Poly, they're first of the half.
what he wants to make sure he's always doing is falling forward. And that seems to be the case, which always gets them an extra 3 to 4 yards of play when he's doing that effectively.
Christian Sam pinned him down at the 2, and Coach Walsh will use one of those timeouts. What a change in momentum, as the Cody Cole fumble now can potentially turn into points for the Mustangs. They can get within a score and then take the ball to begin the third quarter.
Something we alluded to earlier, this Cal Poly offense only threw for 56 yards last week. A lot of people talk about balance in college football, and while I'm sure Tim Walsh would maybe like to see it at times, they can move the football even when you know what they're going to do. That's what this offense is. That's why it's called the equalizer. Because you know it's coming, but there's so many different looks, it's so hard to prepare for, and they're moving this football down the field.
Going right into the teeth of the double inferno. Chris Brown shut down just shy of that goal line. Peluso with his arms raised.
Timeout, Cal Poly. They're second in the half.
Into a touchdown.
30 seconds in length.
We'll stop the clock with 12 remaining. 1 left for Cal Poly to use.
One thing we haven't seen a whole lot of today is Chris Brown keep this football like he did here against Montana last week. 130 yards on the ground for a quarterback. You see him there try to hold on to that, but it's been pretty clear this ASU defense has tried to take his rushing ability out of the game and make the other guys beat him. And it's been to the advantage of Joe Prothro and the wingbacks of Corey Garcia and DJ Peluso, because when those guys have gotten going, they've moved the ball pretty effectively tonight.
Evan, you remember the goal line stand and that sudden change situation last week in Houston. Salamo Fiso and the Sun Devils coming up large. Do they have a third down and goal stop in them here before the break?
Well, this is certainly going to be tough. We're talking a matter of inches until that goal line. I expect them to rely on Prothro here and his ability to put his shoulders down and push through that offensive line.
Line looked like it jumped, but no flags down. Into the end zone goes Chris Brown, and the Mustangs are within a score. Boy, they fired off fast.
Well, just like we talked about, JB, you see right there, they've been so effective at running the dive. That entire ASU defense converges into the middle of the field, and Chris Brown just simply goes to the outside and he walks in untouched. That's the danger of that dive. You see that entire defense converge basically to where the center stands. And Chris Brown, like we said earlier, a smart guy that's able to recognize and diagnose things effectively, keeps that football and walks into the end zone just off the left tackle.
How many times have we seen these Sun Devils in the Todd Graham era take a turnover and convert it into points? It's one of their strengths, getting a dose of their own medicine here before the half, though.
Key characteristic of any football team is being opportunistic with turnovers. Cal Poly able to force one there towards the end of the first half here, and that's on them for moving the ball down the field and getting that score before halftime. This will prove to be a big momentum shift for this Mustangs football team.
9 seconds left before the half, and you wonder if John Madden might be watching somewhere. One of, if not the most famous Cal Poly alumni. He played as an all-conference lineman in 57 and 58, doubled in baseball as well on that 58 Mustangs team.
Certainly a guy that up here in the booth, JB, I think we all try to emulate. One of the best that there ever was when he decided to move on from football and step up here in the booth. Certainly an incredible voice.
Well, the telestrator is right there in front of you. If there's a bird on the field or anything that you want to circle, or a hot dog in the stands that you want to telestrate for us in true Madden fashion. Of course, this generation, the players on the field, they know John not for his Cal Poly days as a player or as a coach in the NFL, but of course for his video game.
Absolutely. His namesake. Gracing the cover of the most popular college football game that I think we've ever seen.
Lucien picks it up at the 9. Clock running short. We would love to take this one the distance. gets out of bounds right as that first half clock expires. And so that'll do it for the first half, with Cal Poly rallying from down 21-7.
That's the end of the second quarter.
And take a Cody Cole fumble and cash it in for a touchdown to bring them within a score at the break. State Farm halftime report is right around the corner. The Ducks falling short in their bid to take down Michigan State. An update on UCLA and Nick Wilson running over Nevada for the Arizona Wildcats. That's coming up from our San Francisco studios on the State Farm halftime report. We'll take a look at our Reese's Perfect Combination and what DJ Foster and Demario Richard were able to do in the first two quarters.
Certainly DJ Foster in the role we expected him to have even back last week. Seen him have several touches in several different capacities in several different positions, and that's the player we've known and trusted that he would become. And Demario Richard, 16 rushes.
Down to the field with Drea and Todd Graham.
Thanks, JB. Coach, we saw you talking to your team. What was your message to them?
You probably don't want to hear it.
I do.
Very, very disappointed with being undisciplined. You're playing the triple option. You got to squeeze and take, dive, and be assignment oriented, and we're being undisciplined there. Then we turn the football over, give it back to them. We just got to get going and play our football and quit letting, we got to take away the dive. We don't take away the dive, then the stuff is difficult. It is hard to defend, but you got to be disciplined. We're not being disciplined.
You mentioned discipline. What's the key to tightening things up as far as the mental focus on that?
Just do what your coach to do. That's it.
All right, pretty simple. Let's send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Drea. 175 yards on the ground. All of the yardage for Cal Poly in the running game. They're the two-time defending Russian champions of the FCS, and they're within a score of ASU at the half. To our studio for the State Farm halftime report next. Well, no one ready to leave Sun Devil Stadium and head out across that Mill Ave Bridge just yet, because it's a one-score game at halftime. ASU with a 21-14 lead over visiting Cal Poly. Back with Evan Moore, JB Long, and the Sun Devils appeared to be in firm control. In fact, driving for potentially a third go-ahead score. They turn it over, and that gives the Mustangs a chance.
Well, the good thing is for this ASU offense is they found the rhythm they were looking for heading into this football game. The bad news, as Todd Graham referenced, a little bit undisciplined on defense, something they didn't expect. I think it starts with allowing Cal Poly to get that dive going as part of their triple option attack. It's really allowed them to get things to open up nicely for them. In the first half, we saw Mike Brookovici utilize the play-action fake so effectively and throw that touchdown to DJ Foster, who's had a big first half as well, along with Demario Richard. So patient in his touchdown runs here tonight, allowing things to bounce outside. On the other side of the football, Joe Prothro, a guy they're going to continue to rely heavily on, a guy that's had a lot of yards for him, been very consistent. And once again, Demario Richard utilizing an over-pursuing defense to bowl his way into the end zone. And Cal Poly being very opportunistic after that Cody Cole fumble, moving back down, and Chris Brown pushing him into the end zone for a big, big touchdown heading into halftime, leaving this a one-score game.
Of course, the other big piece is that Cal Poly deferred, so they will get the football to begin this third quarter. Chance to drive and tie things up. They're just a week removed from a huge upset at Montana over one of the best teams in the football championship subdivision. Something brewing tonight in Tempe. We're about to find out. Zane Gonzalez, the junior from Deer Park, Texas, puts a big right foot into it. And that'll sail out the back of the end zone. So Chris Brown and this triple option offense back to work to begin the third quarter. Let's take a look at our halftime statistics.
Well, JB, one of the most important things in this first half that sometimes doesn't get enough attention as we went through today is right there. That's exactly what Cal Poly wants to do. They want to control the time of possession, control the game. And right here is something they're completely okay with as well. Pass yards at 0. It's something they plan to do going into this game. And they're 100% okay moving that ball effectively along the ground.
Brown begins from the 25. Great penetration by ASU, but the pitch comes out and a late flag. Chris Brown's pickup is 8 for now, with penalty.
Face mask, defense number 2. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Christian Sam.
Christian Sam pursuing Chris Brown and getting that left hand a little bit too high and grabbing onto that face mask. An inadvertent deal, definitely not intentional. However, referee sees and immediately throws that flag.
That already takes the Mustangs just shy of midfield. Joe Prothero met in the hole there.
Thing you can be certain of, Todd Graham alluded to it before going into the locker room at halftime, is they've been out of position several times on defense. And he stressed, just like JB, you and I did through most of the first half, they cannot allow them to establish the dive as part of this triple option attack, and he's not happy about it. As you could see when he was talking to Drea down on the field, he was very irritated, and I would expect this defense to address those issues here in the second half.
This is Kyle Lewis, first time we've had a chance to call his name. Strung out well. Laiu Mokiola, the captain, the spur linebacker from Texas.
They get Kyle Lewis out on the edge. All week long, Tim Walsh made it very clear Kyle Lewis is the fastest guy on our football team. And as expected, get that speed out on the edge. ASU does a good job of containing him, and they plenty of their own speed on the defensive side of the football as well.
Mustangs definitely planning on using 2 downs to get these 9 yards. They just want to set up 4th down and manageable from ASU territory. See if the Sun Devils can get off the field on this opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Play clock at 3 as Brown takes the snap. He keeps it himself, gets out of an ankle tackle from Lloyd Carrington, and moves the chains.
One of the dangers of overplaying the dive is we want to stop it. As you see, the backside defensive end overplays the dive, leaving Chris Brown with the ability to outflank that defense. And if you lose contain with that kind of speed on the outside, they can gash you there as well, which is exactly the challenges this offensive running game presents.
Pitch to the near side and drills Kyle Lewis. DJ Calhoun, who defensive coordinator Keith Patterson calls a stick of dynamite, just blew up. But it is a first down for Kyle Lewis and the Mustangs. Just outside the ASU 30 now. On the dive, Prothero sifting his way through traffic. It's a gain of 7, maybe 8 on first down.
For this Cal Poly offense and offensive coordinator Saga Tuateli, the question is, how unpredictably predictable can we be? They know what we're going to do. ASU is well aware of what this attack is capable of, and they know what the different options are. But it's on Chris Brown to continue to be unpredictable within that predictable scheme. It's pretty amazing what they've done here so far in this game tonight.
It's the 19th carry of the night already for Prothero. He's right at that first down line. Longino gets credit for a tackle there as they pick themselves up off the field and reset the chains. First down, Cal Poly, 3 minutes into this 3rd quarter. A fumble on the snap. Brown rolling, Brown throwing, got a man, touchdown. Reagan Enger, the sophomore tight end, a position they rarely use. On a broken play, and a PAT will tie it.
The most logical thing for this offense to do is use that action that they've had all game long and try to implement a pass play off it. And here's exactly what they do. They go off their triple option look. He fumbles the snap, but is able to improvise and get outside the pocket and find his receiver and deliver the football for his first completion of the night, which is pretty outstanding for a touchdown. For a guy that hasn't had a chance to throw it much tonight, he's able to put that on the numbers.
Goes as a 21-yard scoring connection. The Mustangs convert a turnover to finish the first half. And they march 8 plays, 75 yards in 3:13 to begin the second half. We've got a new ball game at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Chris Brown improvising and finding Enger for the score. Reagan Enger's first touchdown ties the game. Opening drive of the 3rd quarter. It's Pac-12 football presented by Tire Pros. The Sun Devils led by 2 touchdowns before the break. And Cal Poly behind this rushing attack, north of 200 yards on the ground for the 24th consecutive game. That is the active record right now in Division I college football. So Their trigger man, Chris Brown, leading that drive. Now a pop-up kickoff. It's going to bounce at the 30. Alston secures it. Now Mike Bercovici will get his chance from the 32-yard line. Alston getting some special teams reps, making his season debut here. Again, ASU a little short in the backfield with Kalen Balaj missing his second consecutive game with an illness. He's not here tonight. They've got him quarantined, and they're hoping to have him back in time for conference play. 11-17 for Bercovici in the first half, 155 yards and a touchdown throw to DJ Foster.
Nice balanced attack in the first half with 127 yards on the ground as well.
They start on the ground with Richard. He went for 16 carries, 77 yards, and 2 scores, measuring 6 and 13 yards in the opening half.
Tackle by Gigantino.
Joe Gigantino with the tackle for Cal Poly. 2nd down and 5. Foster lined up to the bottom of your screen. Twins up top. Richard finds the handle and finds a huge hole left side. Out across the 50, first down Sun Devils after a pickup of 15.
Once again, Demario Richard being patient and bouncing it outside for a nice gain. It's an off-tackle type look, and his tackle does a great job of getting outside that defensive end, creating a lane for Demario Richard, pushing it up the field for the first down.
DJ Foster in space. Mustangs converging. He still finds a way to grab 7.
JB, I would say offensively, Mike Norvell's got to be happy with what they've been able to establish in their balanced attack so far tonight. They are just so far behind the time of possession game. Cal Poly effectively playing keep away from this offense.
Short drop from the shotgun for Bercovici. Devin Lucien was one of his favorite targets in that opening half. That's his 4th grab.
Timeout for an injured player.
And there's a Mustang down near midfield. We will step aside as they attend to him. We return to ASU. Back in the desert and first down Sun Devils from the 29-yard line. Tie ball game here between Cal Poly and ASU with Evan Moore, JB Long. Dre Avent is on the sideline for us tonight. Gregson Frampton, our producer, Martin Tarr, our director, and DJ Foster. That's his 11th touch on the night. So mission accomplished in terms of getting him more involved in the offense after a disappointing week 1. He remains in the backfield with Epps, the tight end, in motion. Bercovici wants to throw, and he hits Epps. One of the top JUCO tight ends in the country, arrived in time for spring football and made his debut last week. There's his first catch.
Yeah, credit Mike Norvell with this play call. Last week when they went this 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, typically they would keep Epps in for pass protection. DJ Foster gets around the outside. Typically they kept Epps in for pass protection. This time utilizing the play action, getting him up the field. An unexpected look for this Cal Poly defense.
Foster comes off. Mario Richard takes his place in the backfield. 2nd down, Bercovici to Lucien. Pried out. Chris Fletcher Jr. in coverage. Devin Lucien nearly had the touchdown.
Bercovici so close to executing that back shoulder fade throw. Something a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL have perfected. When the corner overplays it, throw it back shoulder just like he did there for Devin Lucien. He's got to come down with that football. That's a great throw by Mike Bercovici.
Same target. This time they go high on the fade, and he cannot hold on once more.
More of the same here. Lucien gets better position on the corner, so Bercovici decides to go high with it. Once again, unable to pull it down. But as you see here, a little bit of a different throw, a little bit higher.
Prior to the snap, the replay process was initiated. The previous play is under review.
That could work out well for the Sun Devils, as instead of bringing the field goal unit on, if that play is nullified, they'll go back to 3rd down and 8.
Bercovici clearly seeing a matchup he likes on the outside with Devin Lucien, an athletic, experienced receiver that's been sure-handed for him all game long. And as we talked about in the opener, JB, Mike Bercovici is the guy you want under center when your team's in a position like this, delivering good throws to Devin Lucien. Once again, the back shoulder fade. Well played by the defender, but also well thrown by Mike Bercovici. As that ball ends up right in his breadbasket, it's something he has to come down with. And as I mentioned before, running the fade route, when you get a corner that overplays the fade and ends up further down the field than the receiver is, a lot of times quarterbacks will look to throw that to their back shoulder to get him to turn around, because it's really not defendable. And in that case, they really had what should have been a touchdown, but unfortunately, Devin Lucien unable to come down with it.
You can see Tim Walsh upset for Cal Poly because he thought his defense got off the field. Special teams units were jogging on for 4th down and 8.
After review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed. 3rd down.
And so ASU now gets 3rd down back. They had effectively already run that fade incomplete, and Bercovici was off the field. Now he'll re-enter. See the Sun Devils 5 of 9 on 3rd down so far tonight. He's got Ellis Jefferson and Gary Chambers to his right. Devin Lucien split out to his left, and again the whistles kill play.
Once again, looking like they're going to isolate Devin Lucien on cornerback Chris Fletcher.
Please reset the game clock to 9 minutes, 7 seconds.
Cal Poly's corner Chris Fletcher, a starter from a year ago, an experienced guy. But that's a matchup they like. And in this 3-by-1 formation here, once again, we find Lucien singled up all by himself on that same defender. Have to wonder if they're going to take another chance.
Got Brimhall lined up in the backfield next to Bercovici protecting. They try Lucien again. He's got the catch, does not have the touchdown, but it looks like 1st and goal.
This time they elect to run a little bit of a different route. They had to run 2 goal line fades in a row. That corner gets up the field. So what Lucien ends up doing is coming back just a little bit to that football, just enough to get the 1st down. Another good play call by Mike Norvell, knowing that corner's probably going to overplay the vertical route. And coming back to the football is Devin Lucien for a nice catch.
Huge break with that replay review. Puts the Sun Devils on the doorstep. 1st and goal inside the 1. Nick Ralston in as the fullback in front of Demario Richard. Already 2 touchdowns on his night. Will get a chance for a 3rd. Gets it to the outside and wins the race to the pylon. The Sun Devils go back in front.
Once again, all of Demario Richard's touchdowns have been a result of his willingness to bounce it outside when things haven't been working behind his guard and tackle. And in this case, things get plugged up pretty well. But Demario, having the vision and the patience to bounce that thing outside, gives them 6 more points, and he's had a very productive night out of the backfield doing just this all night long.
We go back to the Sun Bowl when he had 4 touchdowns and was the MVP. 3 more tonight. What's that, 7 in 3 games now?
The ruling of a touchdown on the previous play is under review.
And in case you haven't had enough replay reviews, here comes another. It'll give us a chance to examine that dash by Richard.
Well, JB, we alluded to it earlier. This is a deep backfield with Demario Richard, and when Kalen Ballage is healthy, and even moving DJ Foster back there from time to time. These are guys competing for carries, and just like this with Demario Richard, this is exactly what you're looking for. And the question is that foot out of bounds before that ball crosses over that goal line, staying inside the pylon? It's very difficult to tell from that angle. There's no question that toe ends up on the white, but is that ball already across the goal line? Here's a better look here.
It is kind of on his back shoulder, isn't it?
He does swing that ball kind of outside. You're exactly right, and I think his toe might be out right there. The question is, if you extend that goal line, does that ball end up crossing? I'd say from that angle, the answer is no.
Richard is from that same Palmdale High that produced former ASU star Derek Hagan. He studies Marshawn Lynch on his iPad during his downtime. Part of the reason why he's got the nickname Baby Beast Mode. ASU also has a talented freshman from Virginia Beach they like, Jason Lewis, but judging by the fact that we have not seen him tonight, reading between the lines, they would clearly like to redshirt him.
The runner stepped out of bounds prior to breaking the goal line. It'll be second down at the half-yard line.
So this time the replay breaks in Cal Poly's favor, and the ASU offense back on the field.
That toe hit that white line just as that ball, just before that ball, excuse me, crossed the goal line. Ended up putting this on the 1-inch line. ASU shouldn't have too much trouble here pushing this thing in. As they march out there once again with a young guy, Nick Ralston, who's their fullback type, bulldozer type, if you will. They have a lot of belief in, are very happy with where he's come in the early stages of his career.
Also 2 tight ends in the game. Richard tries it once more, and he's going to lose yardage. Logan Mays, the transfer from Washington State and the son of Cougs great Ruben Mays, in on the tackle. Joseph Gigantino there as well.
That time with Demario Richard, it looked like it was going to unfold exactly like it had the previous couple touchdowns, where he was going to have a chance to bounce outside. That time Cal Poly was able to keep the contain that they had been trying to keep earlier. Credit that defensive line.
Jefferson in motion. Bercovici will roll. Bercovici to the end zone. Drops. Cole had hands on it, and that will bring up 4th and goal.
Timeout for an injured player of the defense.
The Mustang down, Chris Fletcher Jr. He's been instrumental in their coverage so far. And so with 7:32 left in the 3rd quarter and 4th down upcoming, timeouts in Tempe. Preseason FCS All-American defensive back Chris Fletcher Jr. helped off the field for Cal Poly.
Chris Fletcher rolled up on there by his teammate at the end of the play. I hope he's just okay and just shaken up a little bit, but hopefully able to return to the game sometime soon.
Meanwhile, it's 4th and goal for the Sun Devils. Bercovici and the offense on the field. Time to throw, and he throws it away. It's Pitts. Fernando Cabico, the senior nickelback. Another turnover for the Sun Devils.
Extremely well played by Fernando Cabico. They try to go back to Devin Lucien, who obviously they really like in the red zone. He runs, we call a little whip route, where he takes it inside and whips back out. And Fernando Cabico reads him beautifully, actually overplays the route quite a bit. When Devian Lucien whips back out here, he overplays the route quite a bit, ends up in the throwing lane, and Mike Bercovici lets it go, trusting that Devin Lucien would get in front of that ball, and he's unable to do so. Costly turnover for this ASU offense.
What a moment for Cabico, who comes at football and life with a really unique perspective as his offense takes over with Chris Brown faking the pitch and tackled at the 25. Cabico nearly died at birth due to umbilical cord strangulation. Walked on at Cal Poly, now a 5th-year senior here, making one of the biggest plays of his career.
Gain of 5, 65 from the 25.
And now, JB, if you're Cal Poly, you roll in here to Sun Devil Stadium. 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, a tie football game, and you're marching with your running game. You have to like where you stand right now.
How about pro throw? The fullback right up the middle to midfield.
And this is pressure time for Todd Graham's group. There is no indication here this ASU defense is going to be able to stop this Cal Poly triple option attack. Once again, the dive getting going with Joe Prothro barreling up the field. And Todd Graham has to be on the sideline, very uneasy with where things stand right now, as momentum is squarely in the direction of the Cal Poly Mustangs.
Muhammad takes Prothro's place. They throw out to Kyle Lewis. He makes a move and has another first down before Jordan Simone escorts him out of bounds.
Utilizing the speed of Kyle Lewis at the end of that play, if you look at that Cal Poly sideline, you have now allowed a group of underdogs to believe
for an injured player
that they can get
defense.
this done. This is a sideline that is very emotional and charged up, and they now believe they can get this done. And that's dangerous when you allow underdogs to have that mindset.
Another injury. This time it's Armand Perry with the Cal Poly Mustangs driving. Armand Perry limps off, and this injury was of the non-contact variety. Meanwhile, Cal Poly marching. They've got a first down at the 37. Joe Prothro now 22 carries. He's well north of the century mark. And we revisit Perry's injury.
JB, these non-contact injuries are always scary. It's like his left foot buckles up underneath him. He was able to put a little pressure on it walking off the field. Obviously hope the best for him, as he's tended to by the training staff on the sideline.
So Chad Adams takes his place in the secondary. Second down and 7 for the Mustangs. A chance to take their first lead. Brown drops. Brown chucks. They had designs on Willie Tucker. Third down and 7 upcoming.
This Cal Poly offense, if they're going to try to mix it up, is best served by implementing their passing game into what they're doing in the run game. Their drop back passing game is not a strength of what they're doing. It also allows this ASU defense to pin their ears back and get into the backfield like they just did. Probably not something you're going to see too much more of in that drop back passing game for the Cal Poly Mustangs.
Again, you figure they can take 2 downs to pick up 7 yards and convert here. Brown hit in the backfield and drops. Jordan Simone puts the Mustangs behind the chains on 4th down.
That time, great pursuit of the football by one of their senior leaders, Jordan Simone. It looks like Chris Brown's going to be able to outflank that defense, but they send the safety at the right time to be physical with Chris Brown on the perimeter, forcing him to eat the football and take the hit, as at that point making that pitch would have been costly for them. But we can't give this Cal Poly offense and defense enough credit. They withstood an ASU stand down there on the goal line. They find themselves back with a chance to pin this ASU offense deep in their own territory.
Stephen Pyle ready to punt.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And he'll be able to stretch that leg out a bit more. There you see Pyle and Jacob Brimhall back to return for ASU. Brimhall, the sophomore from Mesa and Mountain View High School, did not play against A&M. Himself a former walk-on, awarded a scholarship in August. Will come up to call fair catch and field it just inside his 15-yard line. So Simone and the Sun Devils stand tall. 4:47 left in the third. Let's take a look at the Nissan Heisman Watch with Evan's updated picks.
It's been an interesting year so far for all of these guys as we see today's numbers, and we look at Cody Kessler, who's put up some unbelievable numbers so far this year, has yet to really be challenged. And lastly, one of my updates is Ezekiel Elliott. 4 touchdowns in 2 games. Another big game today. Over 100 yards in each of his first 2 games in that potent Ohio State offense. And expect more of that from him for the rest of the year.
Bercovici and the ASU offense back on. And throwing right side. That was behind Ellis Jefferson and incomplete. I get the feeling that in that Nissan Heisman Watch, you've just got a Buckeye placeholder. Last week it was a quarterback. This week it's a running back. You know, someone from that top-ranked team is going to occupy it for you every week.
You almost get the sense, just insert Buckeye here, given how much talent they have on that team.
Second down from the 15-yard line. Bercovici puts it in the gut of Richard, who's able to get away from the leading tackler in OK. Nearly got back to the line of scrimmage. Third down and long upcoming for the Sun Devils after they were able to stop Cal Poly.
Timeout for an injured player of the offense.
And Richard's still not to his feet.
Head coach Tim Walsh has high expectations for this linebacking core on the Cal Poly side of the football. And to Utu Inoke, does a great job pursuing the football. They say he's great in pursuit, extremely fast, and is able to get his arms and corral Richard, who takes somewhat of an awkward fall. It's hard to tell what to come away with there.
And just reviewing the situation in the ASU backfield, no Kalen Ballage, as we've documented. DJ Foster has had to lead the field a couple of times. We've seen him split out and in the backfield. Options wearing thin. We've seen Ralston, we've seen Brimhall. The freshman Jason Lewis has been held in reserve to this point.
Seeing number 4 limp off that field has to only add to the stress that Todd Graham is feeling right now. He's lost a few guys tonight, and that one hurts if they can't get him back on the field.
Empty backfield on 3rd down. They set the screen to Foster. Not much there. And so after receiving that punt, the Sun Devils go 3 and out, and they'll kick it right back to the triple option of Cal Poly.
As this game continues, one of the brighter young offensive minds in college football is Mike Norvell, the offensive coordinator here at Arizona State. He's going to have to get creative if he's lost to Mario Richard. We don't know if that's the case. We're not going to speculate. However, if he's not on the field, his options have become very limited. It's going to be on him to be creative and find different ways to get this ball down the field, because right now they're unable to do so.
Corey Fox, a reserve receiver, has been asked to field this punt because Fletcher left the field with an injury, and he nearly committed a critical mistake. There's a flag at the 20, just beyond what was the line of scrimmage for that punt. Meanwhile, Dre Avent reporting from the sideline that Richard just got something in his eye as he was tackled.
Holding receiving team number 14. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
It's Darren Ajayi with the penalty. So a couple of bits of good news there for ASU fans. The penalty and also the fact that Richard, should he be able to clear his vision, would be expected back. Sunday on Pac-12 Network, we're home to top 25 women's soccer, and it's a doubleheader. First, Arizona State, they're undefeated. They've yet to allow a goal this season, and they've got Texas Tech. And then Pepperdine, a perennial power from the West Coast, and Arizona, ASU, and U of A, both in action in women's soccer tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Cal Poly with the football and a chance to take the lead once again. Optioning right on the pitch. The Mustangs break out for 7 yards on 1st down. DJ Peluso leading the way for Alex Suchak, a redshirt freshman, getting his first touch of the night.
Cal Poly showing all the different options they have in that backfield. That time moving DJ Peluso to the slot, utilizing Alex Suchak at the wingback. A productive run for him along the outside.
This one goes to Prothero. Tayshawn Smallwood was the first Sun Devil to put arms on him. Looks like 3rd down and inches based on the spot.
This is exactly the type of football that Tim Walsh and this Cal Poly football team want to play. Watch that clock tick down, a tie football game. They want to get 2 to 3 yards of play and continue to move this ball down the field. They are 100% okay with that.
Look at the pressure from ASU as the Sun Devils come spilling over the top. And Christian Sam was able to drop Prothero for a loss.
Once again, Christian Sam, 10 tackles against A&M a week ago. Physical, athletic football player, finding his way inside and meeting the running back in the backfield.
Another double-digit effort here tonight in tackling. Brown wants to pick this one up himself, and it looks like he's got the 39-yard line for a fresh set of downs for Cal Poly. This is the first time the Mustangs have met an active Pac-12 member. They faced ASU 3 other times while the Sun Devils were in the WAC. And another ASU injury. They're starting to pile up as this 3rd quarter wears on. Salamo Fiso with the training staff.
JB, one thing we talked about with head coach Todd Graham was their propensity to bring a lot of pressure here in Tempe with that defense and be creative with their different pressure packages and blitzing. But Todd warned us. He said, hey, against this triple option attack, we need to be careful. We can't just blitz blindly. We have to do so with a scheme in mind and do so with a purpose. And tonight, at times, it's costing them a bit as it's opened the dive and allowed them to be able to get gashed up the middle. And at times, Chris Brown smartly pulls the ball and ends up on the perimeter of the defense. So throughout this game and the adjustments being made, both with defensive coordinator Keith Patterson and with Todd Graham himself, is finding ways to adjust to what Cal Poly is doing offensively, because even though it looks like the same play generally each time, there are subtle adjustments that Cal Poly is making throughout the game, and it's on Todd Graham to mirror those with all of his pressure packages.
His last 2 drives, he's lost Armand Perry to an injury, and now Fiso as well. There's more option football coming to Tempe next week. New Mexico is in next for a Friday night contest. They run this same system. Kyle Lewis on the toss. Give Christian Sam another drop in pursuit.
Very impressive group of backs for this Cal Poly offense, from Kyle Lewis to Peluso to Suchek to Garcia to Brown to Prothro. A lot of options in that backfield that they've taken advantage of here tonight.
Prothro is the fullback. They call his number. Hit behind the line of scrimmage. Layu Mokiola, the captain, works so well from the perimeter.
Can't stress it enough, JB. A minute left in the third quarter. Cal Poly with the football, driving. Tie football game against a team that was ranked 15th in the country just a week ago prior to the A&M loss. Tim Walsh has to be happy with where his football team is right now.
Brown keeps it, and he got a face full of Sun Devil. JoJo Wicker, the fantastic freshman, along with Antonio Longino, the Devil backer. They set up 4th down and 4.
Cal Poly looking like they're going to keep this offense on the field. I'll check that. They're going to run the offense off and bring the punt unit on at this point. I don't feel it'd be too smart to go for it on 4th down at this point. Utilize field position. Push this ASU offense back in their own territory, as they've been relatively ineffective their last couple drives.
Final seconds, third quarter. Brimhall deep to receive. Clean snap to Pyle. His kick is away. A line drive spiral will bounce inside the 5 and kick into the end zone. 8 seconds left in the third quarter for Bercovici and the Sun Devils in a tie contest.
As we alluded to earlier, very important for Mike Norvell to get this offense moving. Looks like he's going to get Demario Richard back on the field. He's fortunate to have that.
Again, our Dre Avent reporting there was just an issue with something in his eye after he was dragged down on that last series. Could be the final play of the third quarter. They'll feed Richard, and he's out to the 25-yard line. ASU has 28 straight wins against the FCS. They're 18-0 all time against the Big Sky Conference. Those streaks are in jeopardy. Around the Pac-12 today in week 2, Colorado got a home opening victory, stampeding to 390 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. Luke Falk, River Craycraft, and the Cougs, they bounced back from a disappointing loss to an FCS program to win at Rutgers. And the comeback fell just short in East Lansing. Vernon Adams and the Ducks fall to 1-1, and we will see them next Saturday against Georgia State to kick off another quadruple header here on the Pac-12 network. Cal Poly and ASU, another FCS challenge for a homestanding Pac-12 team, tied up 3 touchdowns apiece as we begin the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 5 for Bercovici, with Richard as running back. Demario Richard sidesteps a tackler, gets out to the 39-yard line. 14 yards for number 4.
Time, just the right play call for the ASU offense. Cal Poly elects to bring pressure on the weak side, opening things up for Demario Richard play side. He gets up the field nicely.
Burko drops to throw. Into tight coverage. Kabiko already has an interception, nearly jumped that route. Devin Lucien instead has the 6-yard gain.
Kabiko, a guy filling in for the injured Chris Fletcher. Done a nice job jumping a couple pass routes. That time just a better throw.
DJ Foster, tough catch. He's into Cal Poly territory, and with a stiff arm, he loses the football. Violently slammed by Carlton Dennis.
That's one that makes you hold your breath a little bit. Todd Graham on the sideline, seeing his star football player pulled down in an awkward direction. Fortunately able to hold on to the football long enough to not be a fumble. However, that constitutes what is very close to a horse collar tackle and what the officials try to avoid in the interest of player safety.
Bercovici to throw on first down. It's Lucien again to the 30-yard line.
Lucien clearly becoming a go-to guy in this offense. A guy Bercovici trusts, especially over the middle of the field. And isolating him on the backside, trying to take advantage of some of these mismatches they feel they have with his speed and reliable hands.
Lined up against Carlton Dennis once again, right at the 30-yard line. Burko drops. Burko throws down the seam. It's Gary Chambers. First and goal, ASU.
That time just very simple, 3-by-1, 4 verticals. And Gary Chambers gets up the field nicely, stays vertical, doesn't bend into the safety, giving Mike Bercovici a nice throwing lane for a first down.
Bercovici chooses Richard here. Not much running room. He's got 2 yards on first down. Joseph Gigantino rides him down.
On that previous play, so important for a receiver to stay vertical when running a vertical route like that. So often young receivers bend into the safety, but the fifth-year senior Gary Chambers stays vertical and straight up the field, giving a place for Mike Bercovici to throw, and is able to secure the catch before the safety gets there.
He'll take this one himself, and he got trapped by Marcus Page Allen, the nephew of the 7-time All-Pro Dallas Cowboy Larry Allen.
Loss of 3. 3rd and goal from the 10.
So a loss of 3 and 3rd down and goal. DJ Foster is back out on the field.
ASU once again getting Lucien isolated up top on the corner, expecting them once again to take advantage of that matchup.
That's his first look. On the crossing right, it's Cole. No flag. Joseph Gigantino matched up with the ASU tight end, 4th down.
At JB, they ran Devin Lucien on a post route and decided to run the tight end underneath on an under route. Cal Poly getting a little physical before the ball gets there, wrapping that right arm around Cody Cole and pulling him down before the ball comes. They got away with one there. That's probably a place a flag should have been thrown.
So here comes Zane Gonzalez, the junior, 2-time Lou Groza Award semi-finalist, who's pretty upfront about the fact that he wants to win it this year. From the left hash, no good. "27 yards and he misses, and Todd Graham's look says it all.
Another costly
on an
error
unsuccessful
on special
field
teams.
goal from inside the 20-yard line. The ball is spotted at the 20, first down.
Zane Gonzalez, almost automatic. It remains a tie game. Pac-12 football is presented by Tire Pros. Trust the pros at Tire Pros. Find your local dealer at TirePros.com. And by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper in college football, it's a one-of-a-kind tradition. Drama in the desert, tied at 21. Cal Poly out of the FCS with the football in a tie game. They pitch it to Prothro. He's got the edge, and he's got 6 yards on first down.
There's the versatility we were talking about. The guy that's been so deadly on the dive all night long, Joe Prothro.
Timeout for an injured player of the defense.
And showing his speed around the edge. And JB, when it rains, it pours right now for this ASU football team. We've had 2 trips to the red zone resulting in 0 points. Very frustrating for this ASU offense.
Antonio Longino on his back. A rare miss from Zane Gonzalez from inside of 30 yards has given the ball back to Cal Poly in a 21 all game inside of 12 minutes to go in regulation. 2nd down and 5 after Antonio Longino walked off under his own power. Devils bring the blitz. Brown throws around it. Kyle Lewis tiptoeing the sideline. Close to a 1st down.
Thankful to see Longino walk off the field on his own power. A guy they can ill afford to lose at this point at that Devil rush backer position. The backup there, Kalen Ballage. Another guy that's unavailable tonight. It's like Longino is preparing to put himself back in the football game, as the guy that plays behind him is also not available.
Brown will get the one he needed himself. The quarterback moves the chains for Cal Poly, and they'll wind down towards 11 minutes. ASU led 21-7, but fumbled before the half. Cal Poly got a late 2nd quarter touchdown going into the break, then got the football to start the 3rd and drove down for the tying score. We've been locked at 21 since. Sun Devil defense has forced punts on each of the last 2 Mustang drives. Crowding the line of scrimmage again, and they got the Mustangs to jump.
False start. Offense number 59. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Matt Fisher, the left tackle.
JB, since that fumble at the end of the 1st half, it's been an avalanche of miscues for this ASU football team in trying to put points on the board. Getting down on the 1st and goal to go at the 2-yard line. End up throwing an interception, then missing a field goal on that last drive. Very costly for them as this Cal Poly offense tries to put together another drive.
Triple option behind the chains, and they're going back even further. Mokiola continues to make huge stops.
He's the glue of their defense, and he reads it well and refuses to allow Corey Garcia to outflank him. It's a good job staying disciplined and staying home, as that's his contained responsibility in that instance, and he cannot afford to let that guy get outside. And he does a great job of pursuing the ball carrier and bringing him down for a loss.
9th tackle for a loss tonight for the Sun Devils, nearly a 10th. Kyle Lewis able to break through first. Good to see Salamo Fiso back out on the field. He is one of the Sun Devils who has had to leave with an injury here in the 2nd half.
This ASU defense playing with a little more urgency on this drive, pursuing the football. See a lot of ASU jerseys around that football the last 2 plays, which is so key to bring this running attack down. As Keith Patterson said, it's all about getting multiple numbers on each option, and they've been able to do that on this drive.
Sun Devils D trying to force the 3rd consecutive Cal Poly punt. They bring the heat. Brown stands in the throw. Mo Latu on the sideline for ASU makes the catch. And so the defense is off the field again.
If you're the ASU defense, anytime you can force Chris Brown into a classic drop back situation, it's a win for you. This offense is not built to do that on a consistent basis. And as you see, each time they've dropped back, it's been a pretty tough result for this Cal Poly offense. And now they're backed up, giving this ball to this ASU offense, which likely will end up in pretty good field position.
We have not seen Gump Hayes in this 2nd half in return formation. It's Brimhall again instead. He steps up to midfield, juggles the fair catch, and it's on the turf. We'll have to wait and see. Sun Devil football. Special teams continue to be an adventure tonight at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. But ASU has the football with 9 minutes to play. It has turned into a pajama party for Pac-12 After Dark. Nothing has been decided tonight in Tempe. We are tied at 21. Coming up after we are done, it's the final score. And Mikey M and company will be talking about the Ducks falling just short against Michigan State. Asking the question, is Cal ready for Texas? And Nick Wilson, a big day for the Wildcats against Nevada. Here's DJ Foster on 1st down for the Sun Devils. He is to the 32-yard line. And a reminder that you can catch the final score with Mikey M, Nigel Burton, and Lincoln Kennedy pulling double duty back from Seattle, where he called the Washington game. He'll be in studio to cap the night. Foster again. to the 30, maybe the 29 on first down before B.J. Nard dropped him.
ASU trying to move a little more quickly on this drive to establish a little bit of a tempo. With DJ Foster in the backfield, providing a little bit of a spark on those first 2 plays. Getting this team back into rhythm offensively.
Epps, the tight end, in motion. Bercovici to throw to his other tight end, Cole, and this time the contact does draw a flag. Evan Griffin, no, Carlton Dennis instead. Looks like he'll be caught.
Pass interference, defense number 9, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
JB, what they're doing here out of this 2 tight end personnel is playing off a tendency they had last week. When they went 2 tight ends, they typically would keep those guys in pass protection as they were having some issues with A&M's defensive ends. But this time they decide to send Cody Cole up the field, and the defender gets there far too early, wrapping his arms around Cody, who would have had a chance to make that play. Certainly a penalty on that defensive back.
So new set of downs from the 14-yard line. Mario Richard to Bercovici's right. He pulls this one down and throws to the end zone over the top of Richard.
Bercovici's pass intended for Richard.
Second down upcoming after Gigantino was in coverage for Cal Poly. ASU has not scored in this half. They once held a 21-7 lead. Fumble, an interception, and a missed field goal conspiring against their offense, especially when it counts in the red zone. Richard plowing his way ahead, still on his feet as he gets to the 10.
Richard carries.
They need to get inside the 5 on third down. Give Jason Patterson a tackle there for Cal Poly.
36 of the 10.
Balance of 6 left on third down for Todd Graham. Remember, Zane Gonzalez just missed a 28-yard field goal. We'll see if he gets another chance after third down. Bercovici has time to the end zone. Did Cole hang on? Yes! Cody Cole puts the Sun Devils in front.
Cody Cole on the classic man beater in the red zone. ASU takes DJ Foster and runs him on a little bit of an under route to clear out that corner that was covering him. And has Cody Cole push up the field and run the corner route to the back corner of the end zone. And Mike Bercovici throws a perfect football, allowing Cody Cole to extend and use his hands to bring that football in. And Berco has to be happy with that throw, as that's his best throw of the night and gives them the lead here in the middle of the fourth quarter.
Second touchdown of the season for Cody Cole. He now has scoring grabs in 5 of his last 6 outings dating back to last season. Gonzalez is true on the point after try. And the Sun Devils open up a 28-21 lead. They go 5 plays, 46 yards in a minute 27, and they finally break the seal here in the second half.
Cody Cole coming into this game, 5 of his last 8 receptions went for touchdowns. A guy that seems to have a tendency to find that end zone. And also of note, throughout fall camp in August, he was one of the most improved guys on the football team, a guy they talk a lot about when you ask about how camp went. And here we have Mike Bercovici settling in a little more in this second half with a more up-tempo drive. A couple touchdowns, an interception, but 260 yards. And his arm strength and his accuracy on full display right there on the corner route. Not a whole lot of quarterbacks that can make that throw consistently. And credit Cody Cole for reaching out, snagging that ball with his hands and bringing it in. Not an easy catch, especially when under pressure by the defender. Great execution by the quarterback and his tight end.
Give that ASU defense credit, too, for coming up with stops on 3 straight Cal Poly possessions to buy that offense some breathing room to overcome those miscues. A huge boot to the back of the end zone, and so a touchback. And from the 25, Chris Brown and Cal Poly will take over. Remember, they came from behind to win at Montana, one of the most highly thought of FCS teams. Montana fresh off a victory over the reigning FCS champions North Dakota State in the week prior. Mustangs found a way to get it done. Meanwhile, ASU is looking to win its 17th straight home opener That is the 6th longest streak in FBS. Only 6 pass attempts for Brown. He has rushed for 22 yards and a touchdown. He's got Prothro, his fullback, stacked up right away by JoJo Wicker and a host of other Devils.
And this is where it gets interesting for this Cal Poly offense. This is a team that's not built to consistently play from behind. Now they find themselves down a touchdown. It's a little over 7 minutes left in this football game. There's plenty of time for them to put together a long drive. They can't afford to put this ball back in ASU's hands and fall down 2 scores, as this game would likely be over with their inability to throw the football effectively.
They option to the field side. Corey Garcia puts his shoulder down, runs into Quishy Brown. 3rd down and 1 upcoming for Cal Poly, approaching the 7-minute mark.
What I'd like to see Chris Brown do here is implement that play-action passing game within the parameters of what they do in their running game. If he was able to do that effectively on the touchdown throw earlier, might be something to go to here sometime soon.
A run blitz from ASU, but Cal Poly will pick it up. Chris Brown carrying for 1st down yardage. Jordan Simone eventually gets the stop at ASU secondary.
Cal Poly is so tough to stop in those short yardage situations, given all the options they have out of that backfield, and Chris Brown's ability to keep the football and also push forward for a couple more yards. Very difficult to stop in 3rd and 4th and short situations.
It's Garcia again with Peluso leading the way on that edge block. Simone drilled him out of bounds, but not before a good gain on 1st down.
And again, that's a good illustration of why this offense works the way it does. The guys on the outside are tasked with blocking the perimeter. In that case, DJ Peluso, more often than not a running back who finds himself out of receiver position on that play. So important for these wide receivers who don't see the ball very often to block the perimeter and be selfless guys. And they do it very effectively, and they're a big part of why this offense works the way it does.
It's their reserve fullback, Jared Muhammad. He's had a nice night as well. Salamo Fiso dropped him. Not before another 1st down, and they're into ASU territory. 7-yard pickup for Muhammad. Todd Graham and the Sun Devils have not lost back-to-back contests since they dropped 4 straight back in 2000, trying to avoid that fate this evening. On the dive. For about 5. Does this ASU defense have the ability to dig in and pick up a 4th consecutive stand? Tayshawn Smallwood in the trenches. Four-yard pickup on 1st down. Here comes 2nd and 6. They stick with Prothro. 2 more for the sophomore from Concord, California.
JB, we hit on this earlier. As much as this Cal Poly offense runs the football, it's easy for guys to get caught into a funk on their side of the football as well. And these receivers are mainly blockers, and give this team credit, very selfless bunch. Everybody committed to the same goal of allowing this running back to get up the football field. And they are in unison.
Brown pulls it out, pitches to Peluso, and he is dropped for a loss. Simone crashing in to make a huge 3rd down stop, and Carrington holding the perimeter.
So many of these stops in the second half have been a result of Jordan Simone pursuing out of the secondary. Once Chris Brown hits that perimeter, a lot of this is on the defensive backs being able to hold, contain. And as you see there, Jordan Simone flying out of the secondary for a physical tackle. Something he's done so well throughout his entire ASU career.
Folks, keep in mind that is the 70th rush attempt for Cal Poly on this night. The ASU defense does it again. They get off the field with a touchdown lead. Before the punt, a whistle and a timeout
Arizona
ASU.
State, their first of the half. 30 seconds in length.
And keep in mind at this point in the game, JB, at the stat you just alluded to, any defensive unit that sees the same play this consistently, or variations of the same place this consistently throughout the course of the game, it wears you down both mentally and physically. As a defense, you want to see a team bring a little bit of variety and test these corners a little bit. But that hasn't been the case here with this Cal Poly offense. They're happy moving forward with this balance that you see offensively. 70 rushing plays, 6 passing plays. That's how you lull a team to sleep over the course of a football game. And before you know it, this Cal Poly team has rushed for the amount of yards they have and find themselves squarely in striking range here of this ASU defense.
The Sun Devils are going to get the ball back, and they have to be thinking any points should be enough to secure this narrow victory. I saw Brimhall drop the most recent punt off the foot of Pyle. Looks like Gump Hayes is back once again to receive. Now it's Tim White instead. So ASU looking for any possible solution in the return game just to secure the football and give it back to Bercovici. One of the main to-do list items tonight, Evan, was to reestablish DJ Foster.
And they've done it in so many different ways there with the short post route on play action, and also utilizing him in the backfield, putting his versatility on full display there on the sprint. DJ Foster is such a versatile guy. Has a by and large a prolific career at running back for this team, and now has spent time at receiver. But last week versus A&M, as you see, 9 touches for 61 yards, and tonight 16 touches for 130 yards. And this offense is in good hands when they're putting the ball in his hands. There's no question.
Bercovici and ASU looking for points to secure the win. Foster just waited for that crease to open, drives ahead. BJ Nard eventually stopped him after a gain of 4.
And to be clear, offensively, what's disrupted the rhythm of this ASU football team is that it's been keep away. They haven't had the ball as much as they'd like. And this Cal Poly offense has been very effective at holding on to the football and winning that time of possession game. And as a tempo offense like ASU, when you're on the sideline more than you'd like, it disrupts your tempo. And this is exactly what's happened to this ASU offense.
Cody Cole motioning as the tight end. Here is White, spinning through the secondary. Tim White. Welcome to ASU. He picks up a critical first down.
Tim White's health and participation in tonight's game is one of the reasons that DJ Foster can move to the backfield at times. But Tim White, running the slant over the middle, he's a guy that they have a very, very high expectations for. One of the fastest guys on the team, and you see a little bit of his agility and athleticism right there after the catch. But they expect Tim White to really emerge. Mike Norvell specifically pointed him out and said, I'm excited to see him play tonight. Certainly has a lot of promise. The redshirt junior from Santa Clarita, California.
He goes in motion here. He expects to run track this spring for the Sun Devils. And let's see those wheels on display again. He cuts it back. Tim White looking for the walk-off shots. He's down inside the 5.
Can't say we didn't expect it, JB. After those conversations yesterday with the coaching staff, now utilizing him in the running game, getting him a little misdirection on the jet sweep. And you see his speed on full display as they time it up perfectly with Bercovici and Tim White. He gets upfield and shows a little niftiness in the open field and is unable to completely outrun that Cal Poly defense, but a big play for this ASU offense as they're knocking on the door once again for 7 more.
White, a late addition, signing out of College of the Canyons in April. What a time for the JUCO transfer to arrive. Trust Foster with this carry. On first down and goal, Gigantino wrapped him up.
And White's a good example of how pleased.
Timeout, Cal Poly. Their first of the half.
Todd Graham is with the recruiting efforts of this program. They've done such a great job of finding the talent. And he says it's due to one thing, winning. They've won a lot of football games here over the last 2 or 3 years. And he says that's been the biggest difference maker in these recruiting efforts. And they have a young freshman class that they would put up against any other program in the country. And they are very pleased with some of these young guys they brought in.
Cal Poly using one of its 3 timeouts to stop the clock with 2:04. They will trail by at least a score if and when they get it back. Todd Graham looking for the finishing touches to put this one out of reach. 60-year-old Tim Walsh. Did he have his team ready to play or what? How about the discipline to hang with a Power 5 opponent in week 2?
Well, Tim said all week, hey, we're going to stick to what we do. We're not going to change anything about what we do. And if it's good enough, then great. And credit him for sticking with their identity and really putting together a valiant effort here in Tempe.
Bercovici to White. And finally, the Sun Devils can say goodnight.
How fitting after all we said about Tim White. He's been the difference maker on this drive. Really has brought this team down the field on his own. And this time ends up in the slot on a quick slant. As quick as he is, puts his body between Bercovici and the defender. You'll see here, just a quick slant, and good job by Bercovici getting the ball out quickly and accurately. And that's a touchdown for Tim White, a guy that they have high hopes for, who's done a heck of a job here tonight establishing himself.
That drive all Tim White. 5 plays, 86 yards to put this one out of reach. Once again, credit that ASU defense for setting this all up.
And there's the guy this staff loves. He's seen his share of adversity so far this year, both in Houston last week against A&M and here tonight on the ropes, or what it looked like on the ropes at times. But he's a stable presence for them. He approaches, according to this coaching staff, he approaches every day like it's a big game. His competitiveness sets the tone for this offense, and he's a model for how this football team is supposed to operate. And this coach has high praise for him every time they talk about him. He's the leader you're looking for at that position, and they're going to rely heavily on him throughout the year to be that guy every single day if they're going to reach some of the goals they set for themselves early in the season.
Zane Gonzalez to boot it away with the score 35-21. Roland Jackson Jr. needs to make a big play on special teams here for his team to have any hope. Cal Poly will go home to host Northern Iowa in their home opener on September the 19th. And again, New Mexico is next here in the desert for ASU. We are 155 away from the final score here on Pac-12 Network. Mike Yam, Nigel Burton, Lincoln Kennedy are going to talk Ducks, Cal, and the SoCal schools continuing to roll. That's on the final score coming up after we're done here at Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, it looks like ASU is going to get away with one here, but once again, after our discussions with Todd Graham this week, I can promise you he's going to have some things he wants to work on. Now, granted, this Cal Poly offense is kind of a different look, but they're going to see this again next week with New Mexico. So it's key to correct some of these mistakes. Not let this offense be as efficient as it has been over the course of the night.
Kyle Lewis wrapped up with 150 and rolling on the clock. Last year's contest against New Mexico is 58-23 Sun Devils. ASU fans, I did check. Their quarterback Lamar Jordan is back for Bob Davie and company.
Second of the half. 30 seconds
Let's
in
look
lane.
at the rest of the upcoming slate for ASU, and I want to relay the point that Todd Graham made in the wake of that loss to A&M. He scheduled that game intentionally, Evan, with no return trip because of the fact that they open against those two Southern Cal schools we just mentioned.
Yeah, you see there on September 26th and October 3rd, USC and UCLA respectively. Two very, very difficult games on that schedule, and those are shaping up to be showdowns.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 49 seconds.
And he was happy about the challenge they received last week in A&M, and what we're seeing here tonight is another challenge. Make no mistake about it, this offense was able to do some things at times, had their share of mistakes for Mike Norvell. But ultimately, this is what this Cal Poly offense does. They force you into situations where you're uncomfortable, and they slow the game down and keep you on the sidelines as an offense and get you out of rhythm. And I think we saw that affect the Sun Devils on several occasions here tonight.
2nd down and 7 for Chris Brown, who's had another brilliant night running the triple option. This is not his game, and his intended target, Jackson, out of bounds. We're looking at that schedule. You see that ASU misses Stanford and Oregon State out of the north. They get USC, U of A, and Oregon all at home. It's the first of 7 home games. In the league, it breaks down 5 home, 4 road. That's about as good a schedule from the Pac-12 makers as you can ask for to have a chance to compete for a championship.
Absolutely, and it'll be as difficult as can be in this Pac-12 South conference. It might be a division that might be one of the more loaded divisions in the entire country next to the SEC West.
Now don't get me started on Auburn here. A throw near the sticks. It's about a yard short. 1:38 remaining. Jordan Hines with the catch, his first of the night.
And regarding the Pac-12 South, you could make an argument that Utah is the 5th best team in that division. Utah is a talented, good football team. But it just goes to show you how loaded this Pac-12 South is with both Arizona schools and both LA schools.
Ooh, what a tackle. And what a way for Layu Mokiola to finish his night. He and the Sun Devil D answered the bell late third quarter and throughout this fourth.
Mokiola finishes the night just like he had planned to start it, coming off the edge and blowing up that run play. A physical, athletic linebacker that is their glue guy at that spur linebacker position. Their slot blitzer as well, so a physical, fast linebacker that gives them a lot of versatility on the edge, and that time you see it in full display as he brings down that running back in the backfield for a loss.
Now, Evan, one of the talking points around Tempe this week was how ASU and this coaching staff and this group of student athletes has a tradition, really, of responding well to disappointing losses. In year one, it was at Mizzou. In year two, it was at Stanford. Last year, it was a throttling here at home against UCLA. This was not a resounding response, but credit Cal Poly. Disciplined, unique style, they executed. And it's not going to be the most majestic win that Foster and company have ever recorded, but they do survive in advance, and they keep their goals intact by virtue of coming away with this victory.
Absolutely. I don't think it always looked too promising. However, there's a lot of good things to take away from this gritty win by this ASU football team and sticking with what they were doing. But I think time will tell as they head into the tougher part of their schedule how they're really going to respond. New Mexico next week, and then those LA schools after that. It's going to be a big test for this football team. As we know, USC and UCLA are probably the class of that South Division right now. And they got their work cut out for them, no question.
Based on the play clock there, as you can see, ASU will have to take one more snap to pick up this first victory of the season.
You see Chris Brown there. Should hold his head high. Heavy underdog coming into Sun Devil Stadium. A tall task in front of them, and they were able to do what they had wanted to do, and they were right there in the middle of the fourth quarter. You can't ask for much more than that. And that young man right there needs to hold his head high as they put together a valiant effort against this talented ASU football team.
Sun Devils will win their 17th straight home opener. That's the 6th longest active streak in the FBS as Graham and Coach Walsh exchange a handshake. Sun Devils now 4-0 all-time against Cal Poly. Demario Richard led the way in the backfield today with 121 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Devin Lucien through the air, 7 catches, 79 yards. But DJ Foster, Cody Cole, and Tim White hauled in the touchdown passes from Bercovici. Let's go in down to the field now and check in with Drea Avent.
Thanks so much, Coach. Your team faced a lot of adversity in the second half, but what did you think about the way your offense was able to get more out of drives and persevere?
Well, it showed great heart and character to come back and win. Obviously, didn't play very well, made a lot of mistakes, got a lot of guys banged up and hurt. But again, you know, the bottom line is being 1-0. We every week we're trying to be 1-0, and to come out and get our first win at home. We're 12-1, I think, in the last 2 years here in the regular season. Hats off to Cal Poly. That triple option really gave us a lot of fits, and they played really hard. And you know, we didn't play very good, but when you can not play very good and win, proud of my guys, proud of tonight.
The defense really dialed up the pressure in the fourth quarter. What can you say about the job they did?
Well, we just had to do what we're coached to do. You know, we came out and weren't closing on the dive, and that's catastrophic. And just kind of let them hang around. Then it got scary. But I'm proud of how our guys responded.
I know there's a lot of things you want to see improved heading into next week as the schedule gets tougher. So what's the focal point in practice this week?
Well, the big thing is just being prepared to play. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Any team can beat you on any day, and you have to come and prepare and play. And obviously, I like how our guys responded in the second half. You know, we came down there as 4th and 3. And Bercovici and the guys said, Coach, let's go for it. We didn't make it, but you know what? I mean, I like the confidence that they have. We responded well, went and took care of business the second half.
All right, Coach, good seeing you. Let's send it back upstairs to you guys.
All right, Dre, and a final thought for Evan, reacting to what you just heard from Todd Graham?
Well, I think Todd said it perfectly. He said hats off to Cal Poly. Cal Poly disrupted their rhythm offensively by playing keep away and was able to implement that triple option attack so effectively and get that defense off balance. Ultimately, it's a gritty win for ASU. I think there's some positives to take from this, but it's going to be a test moving forward.
For Evan and Dre, I'm JB, our producer Gregson Frampton, our director Martin Tarr. ASU 35, Cal Poly 21. The Sun Devils improved to 1-1. We'll see them again next week here on the Pac-12 Network. Now let's go to San Francisco and kick off Pac-12 final score with Mike Yam and company.